Welcome everyone back to another session of the wonderful Golden K with the wonderful players and the wonderful game.
Wonderful DM.
Aww.
Yeah. You.
See, I wanted to say that, but I think it's better when somebody else says it.
There you go. I got you. I'll be
you.
hyped,
It
man.
worked out.
Thank you, thank you. And yeah, so it's as someone asked in the chat, the second session is not on YouTube because I have not finished editing it yet, but it will be up on YouTube. Don't worry. Just like Necrohunt, all of these are planned to be cut down and thrown onto YouTube, as well as the full VOD on my VOD's channel, JoCat Streams, which I constantly am bad at keeping up to date as well. But it will happen.
I'm in a
Don't
blind
worry.
panic right now.
Yeah,
I need that second episode.
I've not lost
Inject into my veins.
I've not lost any VODs to the ether of the Twitch auto deletion system yet.
Yet.
You have the promise of eventually.
Yeah, it will happen eventually. I thought it happened with my Endwalker streams, but luckily I found the lost episode.
Yay!
I just apparently I misnamed it because whenever I search in my creator dashboard, I search up Endwalker, but like I named it Edwalker, and
Good.
Nice.
I missed it because there was a typo and it didn't show up in the search, but.
I like to think it was essentially the thing with the SpongeBob last episode where Steven Hillenburg just pops out of the treasure chest and just hands you the VOD directly. Keep going, my boy.
Yeah. But yeah, before we start, I guess we can go down the line and reintroduce each player. Heather, if you'd like to introduce yourself and who you play.
Hello, I am Heather. I play Latilla Flint.
Her last
you
name's Flint.
You don't know that yet.
Nobody knows.
It is on the little display thing, though. That's where I learned it.
It is. Next is Ian. Introduce yourself, who you play, and I don't know, a fun fact about yourself.
Ian, hello, this is Ian. I play Fezos Zareb. And a fun fact, I had potato soup made by my wife today for dinner. So there you go, fun fact.
Wife guy.
Wife guy.
Ian, the wife guy.
Wife.
Speaking of wife guy, the soon-to-be wife guy, Eric.
Yes,
Want to
me.
introduce yourself, who you play, and if you have a fun fact for us?
I play Tibeth Ocean Song. My fun fact for the day is that I'm tired.
Aw.
Woo! But
Also-
I'm surviving off of shaken espresso, so hopefully shakes me in a core and I can
Amazing.
act appropriately for all of you. Or
Because-
inappropriately.
Because I only came up with the fun fact thing on the fly, Heather, do you have a fun fact for us?
I moved to Utah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I was gonna say
Figured
your
out I
fun
can
fact
get to
could be about
Walmart.
the shrimp con.
On a scooter.
Whoa, Scooter
Nice.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Scooter. And lastly, Kate, introduce who you are, who you play, and if you have a fun fact for us.
Hi, I'm Kate. I play Honeymoon, local hussy, and Star Druid. Fun fact about me, I'm terrified of spiders, so this next section is going to be real fun.
Heck yeah.
Wait, huh?
Because he rescued
Oh,
an
that's
Ettercap,
right.
and he needs to go back to his spiders.
I thought you somehow got leaked some information. It's like, yes, this next section is going to include many spiders.
Yeah, I did get leaked that information, so did you.
Oh, well, you're right. Wait, Joseph, I do have one more fun fact.
Oh, go ahead.
My birthday is on August 31st, which is Wednesday, and that means I'm free to stream. So I'm probably going to be streaming something over at Generic Skybox.
S.O. Generic Skybox. Follow him. There.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. Sick 'em.
Oh, you're still doing Devolverland?
Whoa!
Wow.
Oh, God,
Yeah,
that has
there I
been a
go.
while.
That
It's
is
been a
that
long while.
Wednesday the what again?
31st.
The 31st. Wednesday the 31st of Augustus.
Augustus.
Of Augustus
bestest
Gloop.
mo-
Julius
The
Caesar.
bestest monthest.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know what I'm streaming yet. Probably gonna be some game that I really like from my childhood. So maybe
Ooh.
Galactic Battlegrounds, but I don't know.
Nice.
And Sam will probably be there too. So say hey to her.
Metroid.
That's your
If I
finance.
can get the quote unquote legal way to stream Metroid running,
I mean,
then
of
yes.
course, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, go wish him a happy birthday and an early get him an early wedding gift because Eric is getting married soon.
It's true.
Oh, wait, please don't.
Yes, get him a blender because those are always good, or an air fryer. Those are always convenient.
You have an air fryer?
I'm imagining everybody, so many people now sending you blenders.
Yes.
I
Anyway,
mean, that's optional.
Anyways, yeah, sorry.
back to
I didn't
D&D.
mean-
Yeah.
Is there anyone who wishes to recap the last session?
I did it last time, so unless anyone else wants to.
I mean, I can try.
Yes. Okay.
Local Hussy, go.
All right, local Hussy, go. On our last episode, TM. So we had just washed up on the shores of the Golden Cay. Didn't know where the boat is. Didn't know where the crew is. So we all sort of get our bearings. Phaezo starts trying to rummage and collect his lame instruments for his map making. His poor
Hey.
jacket is trapped under a log, and he super can't get it out, and it sucks. And Honeymoon wants to annoy him, so she offers to fix it, and he says, no, fuck off. So we all look around, try to figure out what's happening. Find some footprints on the beach leading inland. Seems like maybe some of the crew got here earlier than we did. We have a little bit of a discussion about where we would like to go next. Our options are getting a perimeter of the whole island or heading straight inland. Once we're inland, alternatively, either trying to just get to the peaks where we assume the treasure is, or trying to follow the footprints. And so eventually we decide as a group that we're going to go inland. And so then we have a skill challenge, which we do. We're so good at skills. We do it so good.
Phaedos actually does something.
Yeah.
Phaedos rolled real good. And we're able to deduce that there are basically 3 sections, like I guess you would call them biomes of the island that we could sort of head towards. To the left, there's like a super like marshy, wetlandy, rivery place. Straight ahead is just dense jungle. And then to the right is more arid, less tree cover, which could be both good and bad. And so we eventually decide to follow the river, which was also the way we saw the tracks. On the way there, we meet these delightful little knot Koroks, who understand abyssals, so 2 of us were able to talk with them. And we ask, hey, did you see guys who maybe looked like us? Can you show us where they went? And so they lead us away from the river, which is good because Honeymoon definitely totally saw some big fucking river monster in there, so probably for the best. So they lead us along, and we come to this cool little forest temple where there's more of the little knot Koroks. And they're all, kind of banging on their faces like drums because it's cute. And so the door is enchanted, and the door thinks we're all rude-ass bitches and won't let us in until Honeymoon, the star of the show, Honeymoon figures out that it wants us to be polite, and so she curtsies and offers her hand, and it's like, thanks, and lets us in. And so we go, and we're in this whole temple, and there's a monster with a name that shouldn't be real. It's like Glabagool.
Glabagool, yep.
Yeah, it's stupid, and I love it. Well, he's in there, and we just kind of skirt around. We learned that all the Glabagools in the place are moss junkies, so we'll file that away for later. But there are some arcane gates around.
Oh, they also speak Abyssal.
They do.
Well, understand Abyssal.
Yeah, Abyssal seems to be the, language of the hour. I'm glad I picked it on a whim when I took the Sage background. So we kind of poke our little heads around. Off to one side, there's a room full of pressure plates with a Glabagool in it. And to get past it, initially what I was going to do was Honeymoon turns into a lizard to go scurry across, not trip the pressure plates, go scope it out, and then come back. But the Glabagool thinks, yummy snack, and starts fucking chasing her. So the rest of the gang has to hurry behind it while it tanks the arrows from the trap walls. And it leaves enough Glabagoop behind to, leave some plates activated so we have a way to return. In the room, we find some gargoyles that don't like when we stand in their line of sight, so we kind of snake game our way around. Meanwhile, the Glabagool finds a bunch of moss and gets bored of Lizard Moon, so she's safe for now. We find there are some orange arcane gates, and an Ettercap is in one of them, and treasures in another one. So that's a pretty big fucking dilemma. But the Ettercap, his name is Clyde Hemsworth Bartholomew the Seventh.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Damn.
He's in there,
job.
and he has a bunch of little baby spiders, and he's been stuck in here for a few days. And so we go traipse around to get some keys. We run into some lurkers. The green monster from Monsters vs. Aliens. We run into several of those. And Lautilla has to do some swimming, and it's almost quite frightening. But she does it. Her snuzzles pull her through. She gets one of the keys. Oh wait, no. There's another key in the first room. We open that door to get into a different room with a different key. We grab that key, and we go back, and painfully for some of us, agree to set the Ettercap free instead of just getting the treasure. Because guide now equals more treasure later, maybe. So we'll hopefully fucking see. And then we go to leave, and the statue's like, "I've been watching you. Nice job not being a dick. I'll let you go." And so we leave. And so we're in the process of leaving.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well
about
done.
right.
Pretty accurate summary.
Thank you.
Good summary.
I'm a star pupil.
Pleasure
So
to have in class.
if we're all ready, then if all the players can close out of the chat and give their undivided attention to the game,
Yes,
we
Bye,
may
sir.
chat.
begin.
Bye, chat.
Goodbye, chat.
Good night, chat.
I miss you.
Okay. Let me get some
Oh.
ambience playing.
Ooh.
Bard time.
Bard time. So yes, you guys complete the dungeon and start to exit your way out of the doorway towards the back, and kind of led by Clyde Hemsworth Bartholomew the Seventh, as he just kind of like makes his way and stops. Oh,
Wait,
what's
Clyde
up?
is with us? I thought he went home.
Was he not with you?
No, he went
I
to go
think
feed his
he-
babies.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
ran
he said
ahead,
he
and
was
he
gonna
said
go
he'd be
do his
back in
thing.
like half an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. So, yes, he does go. And kind of in the meantime, you guys have a little time, unless you want to, I don't know, check your surroundings or something, or anything you want to do during the downtime.
We're stating. Okay.
Honeymoon just wants to go inspect this statue some more, see if she can glean any more clues to its identity, who it was.
So, looking at it, what is your history and or investigation stats?
My history is better. It's +3.
+3 history. Okay. The characteristics of this statue seem to align with some kind of like equal reputation as those kind of Bigfoot documentaries. Books of that kind of reputation regarding some
see.
kind of great hero of legend of some kind that went missing. And this statue resembles somewhat the similar description. Whether or not this means this was a real person or not, or if someone made it in that likeness, who's to say?
Okay. So yeah, Honeymoon is just kind of spending the time investigating, as it were, so. She's also busy pouting because she wanted the treasure.
Yeah, Phasos is he's also a little bit pouty in a kind of a huffy way. He's has his arms crossed a bit. He's just kind of like looking around, impatiently waiting for this quote unquote guide. Everyone knows if he's even gonna come back. I mean, he could just leave us. I mean, he has no obligation to return other than his word. And
Sorry, out of
So
character.
you think
he
someone's
paid for his
word is not
his bathroom
enough?
break.
What's up?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I was making a joke about how like he's taking too long in his bathroom break.
So you
word
think someone's
can
word isn't enough?
word can be almost enough, but I prefer signed contracts.
Yeah,
Tell
honeymoon.
them this.
Oh, because paper is way more important than somebody's physical,
Well, then I
utterances.
have physical proof. I can, say, oh, look, here it is. You said this physically.
Super
You know
quick,
how
honeymoon
easily-
leans around the statue and calls to Tibeth, "People lie, darling," and goes back to the statue.
And paper can be burned. Anyways, what I was saying was, yeah, her and FaZe was probably gonna go at it for a bit.
Please.
Is Latilla doing anything?
Yes, I wanted to look at these gargoyles because they just kind of died at the behest of the statue. And I
Yes,
wanted to
they crumbled down to rubble.
Dang. She's like looking between that and the statue. She's like, what kind of magics are here?
Yeah.
Would you like?
Honeymoon, your magic.
Yes.
What exactly is going on with that? And she
Yeah,
points to the statue.
Yeah, honeymoon looks up at it and says, "Well, I'm not 100% sure. We're on a different plane of existence than our material plane, so perhaps the magics work a bit differently, but from what I can tell from the statue, it seems to be of some sort of ancient hero of legend who maybe went missing or something like that."
You
Some
can
sort of
check
a
with
tall
Arcana if
tale.
you would wish, like with
Yeah.
your Arcana stat. What is your Arcana stat?
Also +3.
Okay. With a +3, you would know, just gleaning and trying to theorize what kind of magic this could be. It does seem like some kind of control magic. Like, whatever the statue and these gargoyles were, they were very similarly functioning to summons, from what you can tell, i.e., the gargoyles being dismissed and whatever charm on the statue also being dismissed in some way. Perhaps. That is a theory.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
honeymoon kind of taps her chin with a ringed finger, as it were, and she says, "If I had to guess, it seems quite a bit like control magic. As various schools would do with summons or perhaps even constructs. Both the statue here and the gargoyles seem to have something similar."
Oh, so there's not a spirit trapped in there.
No, it doesn't seem so.
Well, if I'm still watching. And I think she's gonna, in the languages that she knows, she's just gonna say, "It was nice to meet you."
No
So
response
that's-
back, but I'm sure if the statue were alive, it would very much appreciate it.
I got punched by a door today.
You did. You
Wow.
did.
I'm gonna err on the side of politeness.
No, it has been quite a day. Out of curiosity, do we get a short rest while we're waiting around?
You may,
for
if
him?
you so wish. Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll take that. Get my wild
Yeah, we'll
shapes
take
back.
that.
And I'll roll a hit die to top myself off. It's
Get my action surge
98.
back.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Nice.
Honeymoon's feeling fresh as
Do I kick? Sorry,
I
go
don't-
ahead.
I was trying to think of what honeymoon is as fresh as, like, I don't know, Febreze.
Oh,
Okay, I'm gonna roll my two fighter hit die.
fake but very pleasant.
Nice.
Remember, you add your con mod to the hit points restored as well.
Yes. Is it per dice?
Per dice, yeah.
Okay, great.
Question: do I retain my inspiration from last session, or is that gone?
I'm gonna say yeah.
Okay.
Yay!
Yeah. So while you guys just kind of talk among yourselves and take in your environment, after half an hour, Clyde, true to his word, returns back here. And he comes up to you. He seems to have a very spry spring in his step. And he kind of puts his little two claws together. Ah, now. Good. I have tended to my spiders. Good to see that you are still here and have not traversed the island and its dangerous unknowns. However, I do regret to trouble you for one final request, if you wouldn't mind, although I know I already owe you my life.
Well, I think it would depend on the quest. And she kind of gives him a coy smile.
Phasos grumbles. He's like, always more, always more.
Yes, changing the deal.
Yes, of course. With much regret, I am sorry. But it has been a couple of days since I tended to them, and although they are capable hunters in and of themselves, so are the other inhabitants of this island. So I was trying to hunt this boar, one very juicy that I was looking for, but I unfortunately was not able to hunt it down in time on my own. You see, I'm quite scrawny from the 2 days I was starving in that little cell there, and it seems I've lost a bit of my moxie, as it were. If you could assist me, I would be greatly appreciated. And also, I can tell you more about the island, all you wish that I know on our way as well.
One boar hardly
So-
sounds like much trouble.
Away from here.
Yes, I did spot it traveling further deep into the jungle, however, not far from here. It just slipped through my grasp is all.
How
Can
big
I
is
do
the
an
boar?
insight check?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, Honeymoon will also do one.
Oof. I rolled a 2.
Okay.
Well, that sucks.
All right. Looking at this creature with it, and I'll show it to the audience as well, just in case you needed something to look at while you chat.
Yep.
You can see that his eyes are bright, shiny, with slight watering. He's got puppy dog eyes, as best as an ettercap could muster. You can
Well-
see that he's got his claws kind of grasped together in like a little praying kind of gesture.
Well. Yeah,
I
Honeymoon.
suppose if we're going to... Oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
I know, I was just making a note that like Honeymoon is thinking to herself, "God, what a pain in the ass," but also I want that information so bad.
Yeah, Phasos is going to say, well, I suppose if this is how we're going to get our information, it'll have to do.
Oh, it's much appreciated. Thank you so much. He kind of reaches for your hand and shakes it without you extending it back, of course. He just kind of takes it and just shakes it firmly with both of his.
Although taking it back for a moment, Phasos will shake back, so not to be just entirely pulled off of his feet.
As an aside to the group, to Beth is going to say, I'm not sure I quite like leaving this area, considering we just solved all the puzzles. But I don't think we have much of a choice if we do want to get information.
Oh, if you wish to return, I know the route here very well.
Do you know what's on the other side? Right here, because we are right by the doorway.
Yes, of course. It's just more jungle. There's lots of jungle on this
Ah.
island.
Okay, that helps me.
In fact, I see that you have a little bit of parchment on you, good sir. Would you happen to be a cartographer?
Indeed, yes I am.
I can give you the complete runabout of the areas I have explored if you so wish, if you consider that better payment.
Oh, I do appreciate that. Yes, I do like to consult with fellows of the same thought. Yes.
Then
you would
I
be
give
so
it
kind.
willingly. And he kind of gives you a little pat on the back as he leads you outside.
Honeymoon squints at him. She'll eavesdrop anyway.
So,
She's gonna
yes.
figure out this island one way or another.
So, Clyde leads you outside, kind of around the area, kind of traversing a very peculiar route around, and it starts to give you a kind of very detailed description and very flowery language about the areas that he has explored on the island. And you get more information, and your map now looks like this.
Ooh. Also, Joseph, you're sounding a little canny.
Yeah.
Am I?
Yeah.
You sound a little muffled
You were
there
muffled.
for a bit.
You're good now.
Yeah,
you're
you're
good
good
now.
You're good now.
I didn't do
don't know
anything
what it was
different.
earlier.
Interesting.
Huh,
Weird.
I don't know.
Very strange.
It was happening earlier when you were trying to recount something, and I was trying to politely interrupt about it, but that it
Strange.
fixed itself, so...
Let me see if doesn't look like there's anything different on Discord. I hope that's not the case. Chat, was that the case on your end? Just checking. Wait for a response from them. But hopefully it doesn't keep coming up. In the meantime, though,
Yeah, Honeymoon is taking notes as as Clyde is talking, and occasionally, if he catches her eye, he would notice she looks a little just mildly offended.
Bezos is being a little bit snooty about this, as you may be able to imagine.
Oh, of course.
Tibeth is slightly pouting in the back, wanting to go back to the treasure.
So,
Aw.
Clyde describes for you the outline of the outskirts of the island. Although only certain parts of it he has experience exploring, including the west, which includes a lake of which the river that you guys are following leads up to. The center, which is kind of an opening where another river goes to. However, it's not as dense of jungle as the one that you were just in. And then to the east, what he describes as the dark jungle, where kind of more hostile creatures reside, ones that he would prefer to avoid himself.
At the mention of the dark jungle, Tibeth will perk up and say, "We wouldn't be happening to go to the dark jungle for your ball, would we?"
Oh, no worries whatsoever, unless you plan on going inside the volcano from that route. Of which he continues and starts to describe that there are 2 entrances, which you can see here.
Oh, good.
2 entrances into the volcano. He says he does not have personal experience going inside, as he's never felt a need to, but they are there, and they lead inside where the supposed various treasures that the outsiders have brought into the island over the course of its existence.
Hey. Honeymoon would have a couple more specific questions. She would ask about a big thing in the river that she saw. See if he knows about that.
Oh, yes. That thing. I do believe that might be one of the forms of the guardian of the island.
As a guardian of the island?
Yes! Well, it is something of a protector. It's an omniscient being that seems to be attached to the island, that roams the place, taking various forms. I never know when they're truly around, but the others on the island seem to share trust in them, and so do I. They seem to shoo away any unwanted visitors, as it were, as we do occasionally get the odd adventurer here and there that's unseemly, we'll say.
Ah, you can't do well
Interesting.
with those unseemly types. No.
Not at all.
I promise you we are very seemly here.
Yes, of course, you've come to pay tribute, haven't you?
Honeymoon mutters under her breath, Bezos, shut the fuck up.
Bezos is, by the way, being entirely genuine.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, I'm not an unseemly adventurer. I'm a professional cartographer.
I'm an upstanding citizen of the law, you see.
How are we defining
tribute.
unseemly today?
Oh, well.
That is going to be an honest answer for Clyde. A question for Clyde.
Oh, well, whoever would come and take the treasures from the volcano of the island, rendering the island a little bit more damaged as they leave.
Pirates. You're talking about pirates.
Ah, yes, I've read about those. Yes.
You mentioned that the island would be more damaged if the treasure was taken.
Oh, perhaps you're not fully informed on this. It's understandable. The information about the island has mostly been kept secret for many generations. Yes. So, this island, the one of which you outsiders call the Golden K, my home and home to so many others, many generations of you outsiders like to visit and give treasures to the islands, all housed in that mighty volcano at the center, though what counts as treasure seems to be inconsistent, as I've borne witness to those giving up seemingly insignificant parchment and little wooden things that children fascinate themselves with. Toys! Ah, that's it, toys! Whatever the case may be, I'd assume that what counts as treasure is somewhat proportionate to the importance it has to the one giving it. And every time they do, there seems to be some sort of magical rejuvenation that spreads its essence into the island and inhabitants. Plants flourish, land forms, etacaps become literate and well-read.
Quite right.
Yes, but by no means do we ever starve in their absence, mind you. We've had a decade or two without outsiders before and done just fine, but ones who do give tribute to the island are always welcome, a welcome surprise.
Does
Do
this
those
mean
that
you have
give
seen...
tribute ever return?
Oh, often, no. It seems like Oftentimes, the ones who visit are veterans with not much left to do, on the end of their line, finishing their big adventure, that sort of deal. Some seem to be tired of the inner seas and wish to retire and spend the rest of their days here.
So, would you say there is a society of those here, or is it only very rarely?
Well, never more than a handful, and usually, as I say, they're on the last of their line or some sort. Usually the only ones that stick around are the creatures on this island, like such as me, or those little jumpy masked buggers.
Oh yes, we ran into them earlier.
Yes.
Delightful little dears.
Delightful,
Clyde.
but somewhat of a handful sometimes.
Clyde,
Yes, of course.
have you personally seen these people?
A few times on occasion. I have met with a very, very well-known and read dwarven man. I think it was Retoskman. He seemed to be a librarian, had a big obsession over history. In fact, he lent me a few of his books that he left on the island as well. You might find some of those in the volcano, so long as you give them a read and leave them back in where they were.
I see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, Clyde, you did mention it before. So we are in what you call the outer sea right now.
That is correct.
Could you tell me a little more about that?
Well, there's not quite much history aside from hearsay among the various other creatures, and oftentimes we all speak a different dialect, so sometimes things get lost in translation. But I believe it was created by some group of magical, strong beings from your land, actually. Some sort of escape from the greed of man or something of the sort.
Oh. Honeymoon just says, and it continues taking notes without looking up.
Greed. I wouldn't know anything about that. Anyways.
Latilla actually swallows a laugh.
Yes, it was something, I believe, somewhere around 1,000 years, could be shorter, could be longer, I'm not quite sure, but it's mostly been remained hidden and spread through word of mouth. And there are other sort of things that they use as safeguards to make sure no unscrupulous adventurers come in, though the details of which I am not too privy to.
Yeah, Honeymoon. Yeah, she's trying to think of more things to ask. Like, there wouldn't really be much point asking if he saw their like companions because he was in the dungeon for like several days.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh well. Okay. No, I have one thing she would ask. So she says, "So this guardian spirit, what does it do to those who trespass with, foul intentions?"
Well, seeing as usually I don't hear of them after a large boom or kind of rustling in the leaves and kerfuffle happens, I assume he kills them.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
Phazos,
that's all I got.
Phazos is by the way, in addition to, of course, noting down and drawing on the map what he is being described to, he is also keeping an eye out to our surroundings, just to see, if there's anything that's around us that might catch his eye.
You do see, those masked creatures kind of spying out in the corner of your eye every now and then. They don't seem to be hiding, more so just kind of keeping distance.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
Clyde does notice them. It's not like Clyde is unawares of them either, but he seems to pay them not much mind.
Okay.
So originally with this walk and the talk of cartography and stuff like that, Tibeth was pouting and just like, we're leaving the treasure, we're leaving the path, we're going to find a board, we're just learning stupid things about this island that I don't care about, I just want the things in the island. But the more that she's been hearing about how the island works and the tribute system and how people are dealt with or thought of as pirates when they come to steal the treasure, essentially, and how it directly affects the inhabitants here, she's giving a little more second thought on her reasonings for being here, in her duty here. So she's gonna let that simmer in the back for a while, but now she's gonna be a little bit more attentive for the boar.
Yeah. By the way, Joseph, what time of day is it? Because honeymoon is antsy to get a look at the night sky, see what the stars are like here.
So at about this time of day, it would be like mid to late evening, so the sun is about going down.
Okay. Yeah, honeymoon will be keeping tabs on that, and as soon as she starts seeing stars, she's gonna start making notes in her star map.
Yeah, for sure. So Clyde guides you along various paths of the jungle, kind of helping you across dangerous pits and territories claimed by some less than friendly creatures, so he claims. At one point, he sniffs out a wild boar that he was hunting, and he points it out and just kind of like lays low. There it is, our quarry. And
Here it is.
Listen, I didn't. Anyway,
No,
It's
you're
okay.
so he points it out, and
Clip art ping of a boar.
even though its characteristics are very different than what you see from your world, it does look like the shape of a boar. Its tusks seem to be made out of tree bark, and its wounds kind of what may have been from the previous encounter with Clyde, kind of glow with a dim cyan similar to the creatures that led you to the dungeon.
Does it seem like it has meat that it can eat?
Yes, you can see that even though it does have like kind of floating pieces of bark and a kind of glowy wounds, it does seem to have flesh underneath what seems like barky armor. It's like a mixture, kind of a fusion of the two.
Interesting.
There it is. I could perhaps corner us, but no, that it wouldn't work. What say you, friends?
Honeymoon looks at him and says, "Is fire a bad idea?"
Far? I'm sorry, could you go into more detail?
Honeymoon holds up a hand and casts produce flame so that it hovers over her fingertips. And then she just looks at the boar and looks back at Clyde.
Oh, I guess that could work. I do worry if it might go out, considering how wet this jungle is.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're an etiquette, correct?
I am indeed.
And by your spidery nature, are you able to produce web?
Why, yes, of course.
Do you mind if I have about 10 feet or so? If you are able to.
Oh, that seems doable. If you'll pardon me, this is not quite the most flattering moment.
Oh, yes, of course. I will give you your space.
Thank you. And he just kind of
away.
turns around, and you just hear.
Oh my god!
All right, it's all done now. And you can see that in his claws, you can see just a ball of silk, as if kind of put together like a ball of yarn.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Coughed up a hairball.
So, many thanks for this. One moment, and then she's going to take her knife and her little dagger, and she's going to tightly wound some of the silk to it and turn it into a rope dart.
Oh.
She's like, I've only used these a handful of times before. This is for on seafaring vessels. She pauses at that to not say pirates for a second. And she's like, I believe I can use this to at least embed into the boar, so he won't be so squirmy as he was before.
Ah. Very good
Jogan.
strategy.
So yeah, if you guys would permit me, I'd like to sneak up and try to do a sneak attack on the boar.
Wait,
with
hold
the
on.
rope
How do we want to ask? You're talking about the thing, and she gives you a blank look and says, "Don't you have a gun?"
I do, But how many times have I hit somebody with that gun?
Fair enough, I suppose.
And also, a gun would probably alert the boar a lot quicker than me sneaking up on it.
Well,
Unless any of you would prefer alternatives.
well, I mean, if you needed startled in any specific direction or something like that, I'm sure a little bit of fire under its heels would do the trick. She kind of flicks the flame over her nails.
If you can get it within 15 feet of me, I'll take care of it.
Can Heather, the player, have clarification?
About what?
What the rope dart thing? It's just a knife attached to a rope, and you're gonna stab it and then hold it, or
I'm gonna be able to hold it still so that we can like finish it off.
Potentially, yeah.
okay.
Or if not, hold it still, follow it as it drags you behind.
That's
Yes.
what I was worried about.
That'd be pretty fucking funny.
I think I'll just. Let's gonna not exactly follow, but get in position to try and grab you if you start getting dragged.
Okay, I'm gonna say each of you has one action you can do to try and hunt down the boar. It's like a mini skill check.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I know what Honeymoon would do. She would level her hands kind of just behind the boar and shoot off a produce flame to try to scare it in range of both Tibeth's rope dagger and Phasos' tattoo.
Okay, I don't have a battle map, but
okay.
here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put an enemy token, and you guys can put your own token on the board to show how you would like to orient yourself around this boar. So, I don't have a boar token, so have this hellhound.
Good.
Okay.
Oh,
Ah.
yes.
Oh God!
Oh,
There we
that
go.
boar looks different.
Yeah, right?
I was about to say that boar's very big.
So, there is the boar. And,
Tinted green, so we know it's a plant.
yes.
Don't do that. Like, you don't have to.
So yes,
Alrighty.
how are you guys orienting yourself? I will say you can get within 25 feet before it notices you. So like,
Okay.
yeah, about that.
Well, then Honeymoon will kind of edge her way over here so that she can get a good angle behind it and start scaring it toward Tibeth.
Any further, and I will ask for stealth checks.
Yeah, no, Honeymoon's good here.
Okay.
Phasos, are you gonna cover left flank there, and then Latilla, do you want to try to cover right flank?
Yes. Attila would like to be in range. Basically, if it comes towards her, she's gonna stab it. If she sees you getting dragged, she's trying to try to grab you.
Yeah.
And Clyde happily awaits direction as well as he asks, "Is there anything I can do to help?"
If you see it get past either of us, do your best to catch it. That's
Very well.
pretty much all I've got now.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh,
Oh.
kind of like the sound of that. And she prepares an attack with her rope dart.
All right, so I assume in the order of things, Honeymoon will go first.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Where's that produce flame?
Snap, crackle, pop.
Yeah.
Okay, produce flame. Yes, it lands exactly where you need it to go, whether that be on the boar itself or if you're trying to get it in any specific direction.
So Honeymoon is aiming sort of behind it to startle it into moving forward.
Okay.
Towards
So, like,
kind of towards Tibeth.
Here.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's aiming like right behind its back leg so that it feels the heat and sees it and gets spooked.
Yep. You are able to do so, and seeing as fire is not a common thing in this world, the boar does just as expected. Squeals a little bit, kind of a low snort, and starts heading the other direction.
All right.
All right, and then Tibeth is going to do her best to do an attack roll with her rope dart.
Yep.
Which-
it has not taken notice of you, so you will be able to do it with advantage.
Ooh.
Okay. Do not put it. I'm just going to use the dagger for now.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
And
You do have advantage since you are attacking out of the brush.
yep. I know I've already done one roll, but could I add my inspiration to the second one? Or would
Well,
that
you
not
can
work?
use inspiration anytime you want. So if the second roll is not satisfactory, you can use your inspiration to roll essentially a third time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought.
It's not
Sorry,
bardic
I was.
inspiration.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah,
bardic
it
inspiration.
just gives you
Oh,
advantage on a roll.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah, fuck it. This feels important enough, just in case the 15
In
isn't
before
enough.
you get another 15.
it'd be pretty funny.
Never
Wow.
mind. Inspiration's
good?
gone, but I
Okay.
got 2 15s.
So
Oh wait.
What?
No, never mind. Sorry. Sneak attacks for damage. My
yeah,
bad.
believe it or not, a 15 is enough, luckily.
All right.
So you stab it in. Let me see the damage.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure because of your swashbuckler thing, you do get sneak attack since it's the only enemy around.
I do. So it'd be 16.
Okay.
Wait, I think it's the 5 plus 16? Yeah.
5
it's
plus
5
16. Okay, yes. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of damage. You stab it with a lot of, like, just a very precise stab. And it squeals out a little bit. You see that it kind of spews a kind of bioluminescent cyan goop out of the wound. And it is a pretty large boar, about as tall as you are in terms of size. So in order to hold it still, I'm going to need you to make a athletics check.
Okay.
Clyde, help.
There you go.
Bad.
Okay, and the boar is going to roll against you. Okay, so you are able to hold the boar in place. However, it's still standing. And Clyde kind of jumps in and starts swiping, like
Yeah, get his ass, Clyde.
he could use some assistance. Phazos,
Okay,
are you going to do your
Phazos-
thing?
Yeah, Phazos, seeing that it seems to be held and is now surrounded, Phazos is gonna come up and just gonna start punching. his fist is going to turn an inky black as he's gonna pummel down.
All right, you're going to have advantage with flanking, so +2.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that's that, and then
Okay.
let's do it again.
See if you crit, yeah? Oh my gosh,
Oh,
all right.
almost, but not quite. And then yeah, whatever that'll be that, and then damage. Let me roll the damage.
Ooh.
Bing bong.
All right, yes. And with that, you punch it, and you hear a crack, and you break several pieces of the bark, like straight off, and the thing collapses.
Nice.
Well, I think that'll about do it for your little spiderlings.
And you can see Clyde just like seems very satisfied. A very good and quick takedown. Thank you very much, friends. And you see Clyde kneels down and kind of puts one hand gently on the now dead boar. Thank you, my good friend. You'll be for a good cause. I'm sorry you couldn't be the one on top this time, but such is the precious such a precious creature. I must be sure to use every last bit of you, that it does not go to waste. And he kind of takes a vine from one of the trees, wraps it around the boar, and starts to drag it. Come along then, friends.
right.
I've got a family to feed.
Of course.
Alrighty then.
Yep, we start falling.
Yep.
Clyde, just as we're walking, she just wanted. Are you going to really use every last bit?
Yes, of course. It would be disrespectful not to. You see, this
No, I
island
mean-
here, we're all, in some ways, family. However, we do all need to eat.
I just wanted to know if I could get a small vial of that bioluminescent blood. That's quite interesting.
Oh, I would be sad if you didn't. Go on ahead.
Thank you. So get a little sample.
A little Capri Sun for later.
You can,
Oh.
you can add vial of bioluminescent boar blood to your
Thank you.
inventory.
All right.
Delicious. As we're walking, Phazos is going to kind of saddle over towards Tibeth.
Just
with
to that
some-
sidle away.
Yeah. Like Phazos comes in just like a foot too close, and she kind of like inches away a little bit as they're walking.
He respects her boundaries and moves a little bit to the side. That was some very good thinking there, Tibeth. I've noticed you seem to have some bright ideas.
Are you gonna rope her into a pyramid scheme?
I was wondering if perhaps when this is all over, you'd be interested in working together again sometime.
To Beth, like internal monologue is like, don't say it, don't say it. Oh, I fucking said it.
I could use someone of your talents.
And pray tell, what use would you get out of me, do you think?
Well, as I mentioned, you seem to have a lot of bright ideas. I definitely could use someone with the ingenuity to help, enact my future plans and perhaps future plans of your own. I, of course, would be a terrible business associate if I did not help you further your own designs.
She is biting the bottom of her lip. And finally she's like, you realize that this was more or less Honeymoon's idea, right? She was the one who started the boar, and to come to think of it, she was the one who also set the lagoon on fire, and she also was the one who opened the door. So if anybody would be
Honeymoon's
welcome on
preening
your
in the corner.
team, I feel like it would be Honeymoon with how many bright ideas she has. I just have the moxie to go about enacting the stupid ones.
He kind of looks...
And she says that just loud enough for Honeymoon to hear.
You can see, as you're saying this,
Honeymoon
Phasos'
glances
face goes from this kind of pleasant to this kind of grimace to this kind of sly smile. Perhaps I could use that instead.
Oh my god.
He looks to off into the distance for a moment. Did we get off on a bad foot at some point, Tibeth? I feel like we did.
I think the worst part is when I put your foot in your mouth earlier, but yes, I think we did get off on a bad foot. And after that, she is done with conversation. She's walking forward with Clyde.
You can see he's about to start saying something, and then just kind of puts his finger down and just like, okay.
While this conversation is happening, Clyde just like slowly leans over to Lautilla and just goes, I am very uncomfortable with the energy we have established in the jungle today.
My sincere apologies, Clyde.
I've never met outsiders that bicker this often. Is this normal?
Admittedly, they're new to me as well.
Ah.
This is true.
Honeymoon
Attila has
will,
no experience with the rest of our group outside of this.
yeah. Honeymoon will, after Phasos' botched recruitment attempt, go to just sidle up to Tibeth and like link arms, and just give her a dazzling smile and walk and just gently pull her away from Phasos to walk with her instead.
I would like to continue with Clyde with just the comment of, I'm just tasked with keeping them alive.
Ah. An
And you've done a
honorable-
marvelous job so far, darling.
Thank you,
Honeymoon
honey.
calls from behind you.
Wonderful. So as you guys follow Clyde a little bit further, it doesn't take long before he leads you to what looks like an entrance to a large burrow. And he stops and kind of like positions the boar ready to be pushed on. And here we are at my home sweet underground. He turns back to you all. Thank you all so much again for getting me out of that mess. I can tell that you are going to be some of the best outsiders yet. And I think this may be where we go our separate ways. But before I do, I would like to make a request of you. One last one, please.
Mentally, Tibeth is like, another one?
Out of character, all I can think is a hole full of spiders. Great.
And Clyde gently lifts and takes off his top hat and hands it to whoever will take it.
Honeymoon will take it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, I would like to think that Honeymoon Phasos both instinctively reach out for it.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, we both kind of reach out for it up to him who he gives it to.
He hands it and hands it over to whoever will take it and says,
Honeymoon.
You see, usually tribute to the island comes from outsiders such as yourselves, but all this time I've lived here, I never thought to check to see if tribute from the K itself would be sufficient enough to help. It is one of my most treasured possessions, the first gift I was given by an outsider. I want you to take it to the heart of the island and lay it within the volcano. If it weren't for you, my life may very well have been forfeit, and that would have been the natural fate of things. And so, seeing as that you may have robbed a few flies and maggots of my corpse, at the very least, this small part of me may help another part of the island instead.
That is a very thoughtful gesture.
Of course. As you all have done, you and your people have done the same for me for many generations.
Very well. We shall be happy to do so, Clyde. Internally, Honeymoon is praying to God that it'll count as her tribute and the island will let her go when it's time to leave.
Well, I have shown you the path inside the volcano. That should also help you leave. I've never quite learned the details of how it's done, but so long as you have that old trusty book that you always carry around, you should be fine.
Yeah. Honeymoon says, full of confidence.
Very well.
Bezos immediately starts to like check his jacket pocket to see if it ended up in there, but then he calms himself for a moment. Yes.
Wait, book? Oh, book, right, yes, the book.
And Clyde gives you what you can assume is a smile?
Yeah.
Gives
What
a
you
little
can
bow.
assume from a enter cap.
Yeah, with little mandibles. So if that will be all then.
Best of luck
Farewell.
to you and your, clutch, Clyde.
Yes.
Of course. You all have...
And do try not to wander into any more cursed temples.
No, I make no promises. I've taken after you adventurers, after all.
Clyde. Well, in that case, be safe while doing it.
Of course. And
Could I see one of your children?
I would be honored.
Oh God.
Latilla brightens and
God.
like
Honeymoon's not scared of spiders, but Caitlin is. Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, no arachnophobia
No, I
warning,
know.
as I have not made any spider portraits for this.
Thank fucking Christ.
So, Clyde turns back towards his little hole, his burrow, and makes a few clicking sounds with his mandibles. And you can see coming out are various spiders of various sizes. You can see that there are fuzzy small ones, kind of large ones, almost the size of Clyde himself. And he introduces them to you, speaking in a tongue that is unfamiliar to you all. And the spiders speak back with very similar clicks. He gestures to you, seems to make a few kind of mines of actions and such, and gestures to the boar, of which the spiders seem to a little bit taken aback and do somewhat of a cordial bow to you all.
Aww.
Oh.
God, they're so polite.
Bezos does a little curt bow back.
Honeymoon curtsies.
Beth
bows
has been taking a handful of steps backwards and also bows.
Latilla bends down and like looks at Clyde and says, "May I hold one?"
Oh, of course. Which one? Which one? Which do you think you can carry?
Sorry, I just had the worst image of what if Latilla picked it up, was like, aw, and then fucking unhinged her jaw and ate it.
Yeah,
whole.
just hits it whole in front of
God.
Can you imagine?
She just does like the dart attack that snakes do, just like.
Oh my God.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, you can see that there are of various sizes. Which one would you like to pick up?
Would like to two-hand one of the fuzzy ones.
One of the fuzzy small ones?
Yes.
Yep, you do find something akin to like kind of a wolf spider-esque with kind of a lot of fur. Pick it up, and it seems to be intrigued by your interesting skin texture. It doesn't seem like it's encountered a yuan tea before, and it kind of pitter-patters around on your fingers, taking in the texture.
She just says, "Hello."
It does a few clicks back at you.
Baymax.
I'm Latilla. It is nice to meet you. And she gives the genuine smile.
No.
Wow.
Also imagining, what if Lautilla didn't have any teeth but the two fangs?
Just gums the rest of the
Yeah.
way.
She's going to put the spider on Clyde's shoulder.
He seems to play with it with a little bit of his claw. And Heather, go ahead, give yourself an inspiration for that. It was cute.
Hell yeah.
She's got a little bit of a soft spot for kids.
Aw. Lautilla the softie.
Softilla.
Oh,
And you can see, as you do, you can see that a few other spiders kind of circle around you as well, kind of like very taken in by you, seeing as you are the one that approaches them.
if you want to ride.
You spend a few minutes of them kind of crawling on you and just taking you in, you know, the snake tail especially. And after like a few minutes, Clyde is like, all right, that's enough. It's time for dinner now. Come along. Come on, get. They all kind of start to skitter back into the burrow. He gives one final bow and pushes the boar in, along with the help of some of the more larger sized spiders, into the burrow.
Honeymoon daintily picks some wolf spider hair off of Lautilla's shoulder and says, "You're going to need a lint roller to get all this off."
That's fine. That's fine. I swim enough.
Ah, I suppose that
Alright,
would work.
so back to
Oh.
the temple.
Well, I mean, we know the way to the volcano now.
We were being guided.
What was our goal not on the other side of the wall?
We went through that.
Oh,
Yeah, Joseph, can you show us the map again, please?
Yes, I will. So,
I thought we went back out through the entrance.
No, we
no,
went.
you
No.
went through the other side.
My bad. My
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
So, you are somewhere around, let's say, like here-ish. So,
Okay.
you have the ability to go. So, yes, there are 3 additional areas now that you can traverse. The more kind of open river, the lake, and the deep jungle. Each of these 3 locations will lead you to an entrance into the volcano if you so wish, you know, to go there. And even though the river is right down the center, it just means that the travel time to reach either side will take a little bit longer since you are not taking a direct route.
Out of character, the dark jungle would be really funny.
Do we have any good reason to go through it, though?
It'd be fucking funny.
Character reason.
Yeah. No, I can't think of any character reason why we would go through the dark jungle, but
Yeah.
I do have a
out of-
character reason for the lake.
Oh.
Yeah, Lake is just fine. And that's where we saw the footprints going, and I sure would like to know where our guy is so we can steal his fucking book.
I like Lake.
Also, out of character, Joseph, is it nighttime yet? Is it dark yet?
Just about to the point where you can see like dim light coming from the lake direction and smoke.
Well, okay. Honeymoon will then vote Lake because that should give her a pretty good view of the sky overhead. There won't be trees in the way.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, Honeymoon votes Lake.
Like,
Lake it is then.
I think it is. Yeah. Phazos doesn't really care. He actually Phazos does care. He thinks the lake is a good idea because it might allow him to map some more of the upper areas if we're able to go, you know, a bit north of the lake.
Okay.
There are some hills there. It looks.
So you guys follow the directions given by Clyde, kind of avoiding certain territories that he says are places of more kind of rough creatures to be avoided, territorial creatures. And as you head towards the lake, you start to see more of the little mass creatures getting more and more dense, and you hear familiar voices speaking in common.
oh.
And as you head closer and closer, and the light starts to become brighter and brighter, and the smoke gets closer, you reach the lake, And at one of the things, hold on, let me just make sure that all is correct here. You follow a path and make it to see this.
Woo! Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sick! They're alive.
Is that Theo?
Yep, I gave Theodore a portrait.
Theo has a
He has a
face.
real
That's
portrait.
incredible.
He looks so disturbed. Poor Theo.
Anxious boy.
As you approach kind of the where the lake meets the river, you can see that various masked creatures kind of notice you, and they all start to pound their masks, kind of in excitement, seeing as now you have kind of made it to the other side and have met up with more of you. And seeing this, you can see that it is Sharn and Theodore, and they take notice of you immediately.
Yeah. Honeyman says hello to the little guys in Abyssal.
They all seem to be very excited and kind of banging their masks in response.
So yeah,
Tibeth
I'm
is
gonna
doing
start
that.
walking forward.
The
Same.
face knock thing back at them.
Yep. Phase also walk forward as well.
As Sharn notices you, I'm going to bring up her portrait once again, just for
Yes.
Aw.
talky stuff. Sharn notices you and goes, "Oi! I know those folk.
Oh,
You're
Miss
alive!"
Red Snout. Likewise.
Oh, that's a relief.
Indeed. Is it quite safe to cross the river?
Oh, yes, of course. You might find it a good place to patch yourselves up as well and wash yourselves. I know I did. And she looks over at Theo, and you can see that Theodore has kind of bandages all around his hand.
Oh.
And he sees you all, and he like waves it with that injured hand a little bit, and then he immediately ooh.
Yeah, Honeyman will lift her skirts and start crossing the river.
Yep. She comes to meet you halfway, and she seems very excited. It's such a relief. Oh, have you run into any of the
likewise.
rest of the crew? Anyone at all?
No, you're the first we've seen besides each other.
Damn.
Bezos is going to take off his socks and shoes, hike up his pants, and then cross the river.
Well, maybe
You've
they're
already
out
been
there
dragged
somewhere.
into the-
I
Tibeth,
suppose. I did see some footprints on the beach, but those may have been yours.
They might have been.
Tibeth is like still standing on the other side, and looking across.
Is my passive enough to notice this? It's like a. It's
Honeyman,
only an
Honeyman will
Well,
point.
she's not
Honeyman will
hiding
look
it.
over her
Okay.
shoulder and say,
Tibeth, darling, aren't you? Oh, I guess you do have a thing with water.
I got it.
Slightly.
"Well, tell a
It would
fairy
hu-
time."
It would be
She
possible.
puts out
It
her
just
arms.
would hurt a little. Oh, you're picking me up. I see. Thank you.
That's good.
I'm just fucking
Yeah.
bridal carried across.
You are bridal carried.
Easily bridal carried.
Plop down, and she's like, "Thank you. That was unnecessary, but very much appreciated."
Completely necessary.
She, Tibeth is very flustered. But hello, Sean. Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you alive.
Yes. That boy. I was lucky enough to wake up next to him on the beach, and I'm going to show you a portrait of Theodore.
Yeah.
Shoop.
He was so worried.
Hell yeah.
Theodore the Test Tifa.
Yep, the test.
Oh, he has a
Tifa.
last name.
Yeah, Perose.
Parasa.
Nice.
Perose. And yeah, so she kind of looks to you. She looks very relieved. Have you seen the captain anywhere?
No, not at all.
Not yet.
We were hoping when we saw the fire that, or the smoke that perhaps he was here, but
Though we owe it all to these little creatures around us, these things. They've led
yes.
us to this fresh water. They've been very helpful and kind.
Oh, they were quite helpful to us as well. They showed us a strange temple sort of area where we got some good information.
Oh, you've learned about the island. That's good, because
little
they're
bit.
not exactly the talkative bunch.
No, it's true, but if you know any abyssal, you should be able to talk at them.
I may have skipped that class.
Same, honestly. When I hear that, it's just a little bit unnerving, especially from Langley's mouth. Anyway, yes, we've learned quite a bit. Namely, there is a mystic guardian that is watching us at all times, apparently.
Yes, and we're somewhere in what locals call the outer sea. We're not on the material plane.
Aye, that is what the captain called it when he read from his little book.
Yes.
And also that, essentially the gifts given to this island, the treasure that we're looking for, is, in essence, the life force of this island, and what makes it such a magical place.
To an extent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of a tribute.
Yes, as far as our contact informed us, they are able to survive without tribute for some period of time. We don't know to what extent, but apparently taking the treasure in some way damages the island and also may or may not anger a mystic guardian that is looking at us at all times.
You can
Yes,
see
I'm
both
pretty
their eyes go wide a little bit and they look at each other, and Sharn just kind of looks back. That does change things a bit.
Yes, and
I
also
would say yes.
And also, based on what our contact, she kind of gives like verbal air quotes with it, glancing at Phazos. It would seem that we need the book that the captain had to actually get off the island.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So, find the captain, get off the island, we're fine.
we better find him soon. I don't know how much longer I want to stay here.
Well,
Yes,
these little fellas are not that much of a problem.
I guess that's true. They have kept us safe.
The sooner we're off the island, the better, in my opinion. I personally have much more life to live. You know,
Honeymoon gives him a doubtful look.
I've got folk back home myself, and so's a boy.
well, we know he's not here.
Tibeth is just kind of like doing the rocking back and forth a little bit. It's like, yes, lots of people back home to be worried about and care about and go home to.
Well,
People that love me, for real.
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, I think maybe perhaps searching for him after such a long day might not be the best thing. And
Yes, I think
about
it'd be
now,
wise.
it would be basically sundown.
Yeah. Honeymoon she'll say,
I think it would be wise if we all had a full night's sleep before we try to look for him.
Aye. Must have been a
believe
long day for you. Best get some rest.
Oh, indeed.
Yes. I believe our best course of action is to keep the fire lit as long as we can through the night. The smoke may be visible on contrasted to the night sky.
Aye.
So perhaps if he's out there, he can find us. If not, whoever's keeping watch may be able to see if more smoke appears somewhere else on the horizon.
Aye.
I was about to say, was this the smoke that you were talking about originally?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if you were talking about around the lake or back by the beach, and that's why I was like, okay,
Yeah,
need to
around the
reorient
lake
myself.
area. So,
gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
So,
well,
yeah.
oh, sorry. Yeah, Honeymoon, when the conversation seems like it's done, she will excuse herself and start. Now that the sun has gone down and she has a better view of the sky, she's going to start walking around, maneuvering around the fire so they don't have to put it out to get. As stars start showing up, she pulls out her scroll, her star map, and begins making notations of both the stars in the sky and the features of the land that correspond like directly below them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so she's going to spend a while doing that.
Yes, you're able to chart the skies, and looking over the stars, you can see that it's almost like it feels like an artificial sky that someone manually arranged the stars and very much used your world as a template, kind of like in order to. It's like if someone were to make a new language, but it's just a swapping out of the same letters and symbols and
English
using
plus.
very similar grammar.
Oh, yeah, Honeymoon excitedly notes this down as she kind of traipses around this little clearing.
Bezos is, of course, catching a glance at her star mapping. And
I mean, he sees that she consults like the map of the terrestrial maps as well. Like she doesn't discount those.
Yeah, no, he's actually taking note of that as he's watching you, and he's watching you kind of intently. But then he's if she ever is taking notice of that, which with her perception she probably
she would.
he is going to kind of give a sneer, though it's almost half-hearted, the sneer, as he's looking over.
I feel like honeymoon. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I also want to note, seeing as there is no star chart of the Golden K anywhere, these are constellations that have never been named.
Honeymoon is jotting so many down and like writing down like which shapes might be good constellations and like what she should name them. She's got a whole list going. But when she catches like Phasos and he gives her like the half-hearted sneer, she just kind of like half smirks and like wrinkles her nose at him, and then goes back to it. It's almost playful.
Aw.
So yeah, she spends a while doing that.
Tibeth is just kind of has her back to the fire, just kind of watching Honeymoon go about her business, mapping the stars, and you know it's interesting to her to see that kind of cartography being used.
At some point in the night, when she, I feel like as the evening goes on and she's doing more, she's starting to like pace a lot more, and the heels are getting in the way, and so she just takes off her heels and shrinks by 4 inches and traipses around much faster.
Nice.
As you are pacing around, you can see that like every like little mass creature in the area watches you like a tennis match. You know, like head following you every which way you go.
Oh yeah, she's like walking like
incredible.
down
Like
like
a
in the
sea of
river,
heads.
skirts hiked up, walking like this way, standing on top of rocks. She's getting fucking everything.
Bezos, if she gets attacked by a hippo, tap me.
If she gets attacked by a hippo, it's too late.
While you
I have to try.
do, you can see Sharn is like watching you intently, like one cheek on her fist, like while it's being propped up by her fist, and she has a big smile on her face.
Honeymoon, at one point when she catches Sharn's eye, she'll wink at her.
She give me a charisma check.
Oh god.
Oh,
My charisma's not bad. It's just not like a prime stat for her. Okay. Oh, that was a save. Sorry.
Oh,
It doesn't
what's
matter.
Your, what's your
It's not
I was
bonus?
gonna say it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not proficient, so it's the same thing.
Okay. So 15. She is startled a little bit by that, like she didn't realize she was staring. And she kind of looks around. You can see her greenish face turns a slight olive a little bit.
Can I since we're both
Honeymoon
looking at
giggles
Honeymoon,
behind her hand. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say since me and Sharn are both watching Honeymoon do this, can I say that Tibeth notices this exchange between her and Sharn?
Oh, yeah, easily.
She looks over at Sharn and like kind of leans in and whispers a little bit. I'd be careful with that one. She's very dangerous.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
No,
Just for the humor, as Honeymoon passes, she overheard that last bit, and she says, "Watch out, darling, I bite," and like chomps her teeth once playfully, and then goes this way.
She just takes
down the
one
river.
hand and like kind of screen covers the side of her face a little bit and like turning back towards the fire.
Tibet's hair
Oh,
also
that's fun.
glows a lot brighter. Also, she's like I said, be very careful. And she's gonna scoot away from Sharn and stop watching Honeymoon.
Honeymoon's motto in life is that text post that just says, "You want to fuck me so bad it makes you look stupid."
Could I go ahead and I wanted to inspect Theodore.
Theodore? Yes. Like, how so?
I want to check on him.
Check on him. He sees you and he's like, hi, Miss Lautilla. Thanks for trying to help me. Sorry that I couldn't be helped, even though you tried your best, which you did a really good job.
I'm sorry it didn't succeed. What
Well,
happened?
Oh, well, after I went under, I don't remember much, but I woke up on the beach and Well, he just shows what looks almost like a little nub where his hand would be, but it looks
Oh,
to
shit.
be it
I
looks
didn't
to
realize it was
be
that bad.
wrapped up, so it's hard to tell how much damage there is. It's completely wrapped in gauze.
Boy, do you have all your fingers?
Does he have a hand?
Sharn kind of looks back. I think it'll be better when you see it once it heals. And you can see that Theodore just sighs and shrugs his shoulders a little bit, looks down on kind of the ground before him. Well, it's not like I was all that competent with a full hand anyway.
Theo, how old are you?
About 20 summers?
You'll have time.
Well, I don't know about that. I've been 3
She puts
years.
she puts a hand on his shoulder and just goes, "You'll have time."
I guess so. 3 years on a ship hasn't really proved much.
It's only when you hit the 15 mark that you actually start seeing progress.
Well, I hope so. He just kind of looks down. It looks like he's deep in some kind of thought. How do you guys do it?
What?
I don't know. Just be certain that things are gonna be all right. That you're gonna do it, you know? You all seem so good at what you do.
Step 1, be evil aligned.
Step 2, plot armor.
Bezos is actually kind of listening to this. He's gonna speak up. It took a lot of hard work. I didn't start as successful as I am now. And honestly, I thought I was going to fail many times. But I persisted, and after a few lucky breaks, I was able to make it where I am. I'm sure that in time you'll have your own bits of success, and one day you'll be a right good sailor. Yes.
Oh. Well, maybe that's where I went wrong.
At Bezos. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Honeymoon has wandered back over here. She's about done. And she goes to plop down to dry off, and she says to Theo,
There's a lot of heartache and failure that comes with success and getting good at something. It hurts, but it's all part of the process. And eventually, you get to a point where you can live with it and you can keep moving forward.
He kind of drops his cheeks in his hand. Oh, Tibeth, you first.
I was just gonna say, during Phaezo's entire speech, Tibeth is like gripping the grass so fiercely with her hand, like she has her like hands out to the side, like she's like leaning back a little bit, but she's like gripping the grass so fiercely with her hands. She starts making like a tiny little embers and stuff
Say,
around it.
baby girl,
Oh.
you're gonna set it on fire.
But yeah, no, continue.
Theodore just kind of like puts his head like resting between like two palms of his hands, propping his cheeks up. Oh, maybe that's where I went wrong. My folks, they always gave me everything. And everything always just kind of came easy. Well, and maybe that's why I don't really know how to do much, you know? I was hoping that coming out on this ship and being part of a crew might have taught me how to do stuff on my own. Ma and Pa always kind of did stuff for me.
Tibeth
Well,
would like to interrupt.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
At this, she loosens her grip and like gently pats out the fire, in hoping nobody noticed. She's
I
gonna
even
say,
noticed.
she's of course she did. She's going to come on up a little bit closer to the group,
And she's gonna say, well, I can tell you from my experience of having a little bit of both, you know, a little bit of caring family that will take care of you and a little bit of not having anything to your name, that the difference between all of it is truly and deeply wanting something and striving your very best to get it. What do
Wow.
you want, Theodore?
Conviction.
He looks up into the deep starry sky. He looks down onto his wounds. Well, right now, I really want to get off this island and go see my folks.
Well then,
Yeah.
I'm sure that with all of our collective conviction to do so, we'll do just that.
Yeah. Honeymoon sidles over to him. She's, like I said, she's shorter now. She's still 6'3", but
Shorter now.
she sidles over to Theodore and very, very gently and carefully takes his wounded hand. And she says, "Well then, my darling, use that conviction to help get you off this island. And tell your folks all about it when you get home." And she'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
Aww.
Aww.
Oh, thanks, Miss Honeymoon.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Honeymoon gives him kind of a slightly, just a very small smile and says, "You have folks to go home to and tell about your adventure. Revel in it." And she gives his more healed hand just a very gentle, like, squeeze, like a encouraging squeeze, and then goes back over yonder.
He has a big smile while he says this. Ow!
Sorry. Sorry, thought it would have been better. My bad.
Lautilla? Or you're just adjusting?
Yeah, sorry.
Let me move some of these.
Bezos does want to have a moment with Lotilla if
Oh, when?
that is anytime.
Okay.
You know, after the conversation, if it's all good with everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Phasos can go about collecting his crew.
I did want to do something with Honeymoon as well at some point, just because of her
Yeah.
comment right then.
Yeah, this is the
Okay,
perfect
you can
time
go
to
ahead and
get
do
to
that
get all
first.
this out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, before you do you think maybe this is a good time for a break, real quick?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna go get my water.
Yeah,
do a
let's
break.
let's
Yeah,
take a
need
break.
some more water.
We'll come back
I'm gonna
at
sneak
at 5 past the hour.
Okay,
Five
5 past
past
the
the
hour.
hour.
Gotcha.
Fill up your
Alright.
water bottles.
BRB.
We'll get some schmackles.
Some schmeckledors.
Put on pajamas real fast, and I'll be back.
Shark fact, snake fact? I don't the legacy that Davy has left. What are those icons, by the way? I missed that part. So here, I'll show the icons. The first one is Sharn, who is an orc. She's the orcish lady. The other one is Theodore, who is the young tiefling, right there. And the little tiny ones that are all over the place are these strange masked creatures that have been following the party for a little bit, slightly guiding them. Is there full art of the main cast somewhere? I don't know if the artist posted it on their social media or not. But if you do want to find the artist, they are let me find it. Haunted Elevator, I think.
Heck.
On Twitter and Instagram, Haunted Elevator, all one word. Haunted Elevator.
Shouting out the artist again?
Yes. So
Nice.
here's their Twitter. I think they're more active on Instagram, so I will find the Instagram as well.
I'll just,
Can't recommend them enough.
Yeah. Also, shark fact. I think last time I did the one about how their hearts are weird. So this time, I think it's a few different species that are like this, but white sharks in particular are known to be philopatric, which means that female sharks like to give birth in the same place they were born.
Oh.
Yeah, they're known to like travel far away and then come back just to give birth.
Oh.
Yeah, and sharks
There are a good
across
deal
the
of creatures that do
species.
that.
Yeah, there's
That's
a
weird.
mix of there are a mix of sharks. A lot of them do live births. Sharks also have 2 uteruses.
If we want to combine facts,
Yeah.
Latilla species does that too. They go
Ooh.
inland to lay eggs.
Cool.
even
Also,
though
some
this is
sharks are warm-blooded.
oh, interesting. Even though this is totally not how it works, I just like the imagery of being chased by a shark, and then it gives birth to another shark, and then that second shark starts chasing you too, like mid chase. But you don't need to be worried about being eaten by sharks because there are so many other things that are more likely to kill you than sharks, like jellyfish, for
Or
example,
cars.
or cars,
Jellies.
or I don't know, dying by. Hold on, there's probably a list
Probably
online. Let me see.
yeah, lightning is, I think, more likely.
Yeah,
Yep. Most shark attacks are a case of mistaken identity.
yeah, and like they're likely not going to eat you totally because apparently humans don't taste very good.
No.
So like if a shark, even if a shark like bites you, it's likely going to quickly know its mistake and leave.
Yeah, they call it hit and run attacks.
Yeah.
Aw.
Vending machines are more dangerous than sharks. Yeah, they could fall over. You never suspect it.
Yeah. And speaking of sharks eating stuff, if they eat something they can't digest, they can turn their stomach inside out, barf it up, shake out whatever's in there, and put it back in.
I love them.
Gross.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah,
For
that's
you,
why
Blizzard, yes.
that's why Killer Chansey, that's why, which by the way, awesome name. That's also why the stereotype of sharks attacking surfers is because the silhouette of a surfer looks like a seal.
Yes.
That's why they attack surfers, is because they're like, oh boy, seal, and then they take a bite and they're like, ew, gross.
Sometimes they'll nibble you just to figure out what the hell you are.
Yeah.
And frankly, their ability to figure things out is limited to biting and nudging.
Like, in fact, I think the statistic of there being so many shark attacks rather than shark fatalities shows that they don't try to kill you. You know, it's like that whole thing about like, the statistic survivor's bias. I think it is. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of shark attacks, but not a lot of shark fatalities.
Yeah, it's like you're in his house, you're in his fridge. I mean, how else is he supposed to figure it out?
You're more likely to get bit by a New Yorker.
Yeah. That would probably give you rabies too.
Yeah,
True.
you're more likely to die by rabies than shark.
It's a thing in Finding
Rabies
Nemo
are
where they get
terrifying,
aggressive
dude.
from smelling blood. True. If it is, it hasn't been discussed in the book so far. So the
There
way
is a
the
blood
book is
frenzy.
like, maybe, yeah. So the way the book that I
Hello.
have is set up, it's like 600 pages long, and I'm still at the very beginning where it's all like general biology stuff that's pretty true across the entire, like,
All sharks.
all sharks. Yeah,
Wait, you're reading a
Um,
shark book?
I am in fact.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
I'm reliving my childhood shark phase, but
Heck yeah.
they
Fuck
do
yeah.
have incredibly like good like just olfactory senses, and they're one of I think the only animals who can sense electric fields.
Yeah, because they,
Um,
hammerheads, and also they can smell blood in the water for like miles away, right?
Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, if there is a frenzy thing, I haven't gotten to that part in the book yet, but
No, I just meant that they can detect blood and will seek it out.
yeah. Apparently, when they dive, they like secrete pheromones that tell other sharks to stay the fuck away.
Oh.
I think it's been used in recent years in like test shark repellents, and I think it works.
I wonder what's the evolutionary benefit of that, considering they're already dead.
It's a
Keep other sharks alive.
Yep.
Oh.
A warning.
So.
Yeah, like if something is hunting them.
Oh, I see. So like keep them like to protect them from like orcas and stuff.
Orcas are no joke.
No, yeah, orcas are scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh.
We are easily tricked by their beautiful aesthetic.
Yeah. My roommate's dog reminds me of an orca because his eyes are really dark and he has these big black spots on his head, like over his eyes. He's scary when I don't have my glasses on and I can't distinguish his eyes from his spots.
Just an orca on your floor.
Yeah.
Was it that orcas kill for sport? I don't know that that's
know.
true, but I know that orcas in captivity act very strangely in a way that is dangerous because, of course, they would. They're in captivity.
They are
Yeah.
dolphins, and dolphins do, so I think orcas do as well.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's scared of sharks. Not the true menace. Dolphin.
Mhm.
Dolphins, I'm actually not a fan of dolphins for many reasons.
I think they're also one of the. I might be wrong, but I thought I heard somewhere that they're like one of the only other species besides humans that has sex for fun.
Yes.
Yeah, they're one of the only other species that do most things for fun. They'll bite into pufferfish to get high.
That's pretty good.
Asshole drug addicts, yeah, exactly. They are. But again, it's like we feel this false sense of security because they look cute to us. But
Yeah.
no, behavior-wise, they are dangerous creatures.
Kat, would you like to say anything on the record?
Put him on mic.
Oh,
Can you hear us chirping?
No.
We heard
heard
one.
one. Yeah, they make waves to knock off seals. That's another thing that makes them
Hello.
scary. They're
I am
smart.
back.
Oh, hello.
Sharks are just instinctual. Dolphins are smart.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which makes
they
them
have
even
the capability
scarier.
to know evil.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Kat, you're...
How's it been going? What's everyone up to?
Going good. We're just talking about how
Sharks.
sharks are not that dangerous. Even though they look scary,
they
they're
are.
behavior-wise, they are not that scary or much of a danger to us humans.
They have the capability to be dangerous, but it's overblown.
In practice, they are not much of a danger to humans.
Looks like
Yeah.
they could kill you. Actually, cinnamon roll.
Actually, so
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
all you got to do
they
is flip
could
them
actually
over.
kill you, but
Well, they could kill you, yeah, but they prefer not to. There's
yeah,
no
generally they want to keep away.
no purpose. Sharks are himbos.
Well,
I'm now
Maybe.
picturing that one image of the shark biting the internet coils.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that sharks. Because they can sense electric fields. That's why they like to chew on Atlantic cables.
Wow, that's great and
Like, "Ooh,
hilarious.
what's this? Chomp.
Yeah.
Delicious.
So if you have bad international connection with your friends, blame sharks.
Yeah.
One thing,
Yay.
even though they do look intimidating to me, one thing that helps me is that one gif of like the diver flipping a shark after it's like being really aggressive and it's going nah, 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 and he just flips it over and it just stops.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And it usually with the caption, "Ha, get flipped, idiot."
Yeah, that does sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some sharks. This is a pretty low hanging fruit of a shark fact, but some of them can't breathe unless they're swimming. It's called ram
Yes.
ventilation.
Yes.
So
They
Yep.
have to keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Anyway.
Get rotated. That's the one. Yeah.
Get rotated,
Yeah.
bitch.
That's the one. Okay, so since we're all here, are we ready to return back to the session?
I think so.
I think.
And I think, and after the other ones, Honeymoon wants to have a conversation with Jeffrey Bezos.
Ah.
Well, that's funny because there is also a Bezos honeymoon conversation that he wants to have. So
All right.
Oh boy.
We're doing it all tonight, boys.
I was about to
There's a
say.
campfire.
This is the talkie session.
Mhm.
good.
The calm before the storm.
And so I think it was Latilla and honeymoon next.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It
And
was
then
'cause
honeymoon
let's-
and Bezos.
Yeah, Honeymoon had a comment about cherishing family once he gets back.
Yeah, I think she said you have a family to go home, tell the story to, enjoy that.
Yeah.
See ya.
Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon is just adding notes to her star map, kind of just poring over it. She looks up, and her jewels all dangle on her horns. It's like,
I'm gonna sit down next to you.
yes.
You don't have anyone to go back to either.
Honeymoon just kind of sighs dramatically, and she says, "Well, sort of. I think I've got a cousin and a grandparent, but no, not in particular." She kind of twirls some hair around her finger, debates getting into it, and then thinks, what the hell?" And she says, "I am actually the latest in a long family of star mappers. We've all, for generations, my family's been trying to find this island, and none of them have come back. So, I wanted to be the first."
Internally, Attila has said challenge accepted.
What? What does
No,
that
I think
mean?
she's charged with keeping you alive.
Oh, very good. I mean, Honeymoon is pleased with that.
You know what? She just says, she's gonna lean back and just go, okay, I can do that.
The Honeymoon kind of blinks.
For once, you've stumped her.
Yeah. It's like, what?
Keeping you alive.
Oh. That's very kind of you. I mean, I certainly appreciate it.
Looks at.
I'm not quite the, stocky heavy hitters like you and Phazos over there.
Bezos does not react.
Sharn speaks up and kind of trying to not make eye contact with you, Honeymoon. You know, I know you're only contractor for this job, but seeing as you're very proficient with, you know, your star charting, if you wanted to become full-time, I'm sure, you know, hopefully the gods permit, if the captain's still around, he could use a charger like you, you know, to have on board for his sake.
It's giving her a knowing smile. And she kind of taps her chin and she says, well, assuming we're able to get out of here alive in one piece, I would be looking for another project to work on. Certainly something to consider. And she gives her a smile.
She gives a smile back, but she looks a little melancholy, looking back down at the reference of the captain again. I do worry for his ship. I saw pieces on the shore.
Oh, yes, I'm not quite certain it survived the voyage.
Honeymoon.
Thing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's probably the worst thing that can happen. To lose your vessel.
Honeymoon pauses, then says,
Sean, did you know about any official business the captain may have had with, I don't know, kingdom officials or some sort?
She perks up a little bit at that. Oh, no. Did they get to him?
Well, I don't know for certain. I didn't have a chance to ask him before we arrived here, but while we were boarding, I overheard a conversation between him and what looked to be some sort of official messenger, and it sounded like perhaps the ship was no longer the captain's.
Ooh, she sighs and leans back a little bit, kind of takes one hand and pushes back her hair a bit. All the while Captain spent his life on that ship, people were constantly getting in the way of him and his life on the seas. Folk with business don't like seeing others being potential rivals, least of which the South Belkin Sea Trade Company.
I'm actually gonna look at Phazos at that.
Yeah, Bezos at the mention of people having a competition and not liking that. He does kind of dart his eyes to the ground for a moment.
well,
I'm actually gonna pull him. Do you know anything about this company?
Ooh.
Phazos. Let's see.
It could either can pick it up because it was directed at Phazos, but if Sean's can take it.
Do I know anything about that company?
Yes, Phazos, you would know that it's probably the premier kind of company that has kind of absorbed a lot of other privateering, you know, groups just due to its sheer mass as a company. And that Rackmorn was one of the few independent groups that could compete in terms of quality service.
Okay. Yeah, Phazos, kind of relays that they're a very successful company, and unfortunately so, they seem to be expanding more and more. He does kind of grimace thinking about them.
May I also ask if I have knowledge of that, since I been part of pirating in these waters for
You
many a
have.
year?
They've caused you no little bit of trouble. Some seemingly justifiably so, but you know that they've done some underhanded tactics with the law. Kind of like they could arrest you for totally legal reasons, but they themselves have exploited some of the pirate crews that you've been on. Kind of like maybe taking more than they should have legally. You know, maybe needing to turn you in for legal reasons, but maybe doing some collateral damage, as it were.
Yeah. Tibeth is gonna hold her tongue to wait to see what Phasos finishes telling and his perspective on that.
Yes. Yeah, he is kind of basically just grumbling about how they're, getting a bit big for his liking. You know.
Aye, they've been badgering him in every which way they could, lobbying for tariffs on certain trade that Rackmorn had business in, getting extra guards' eyes on him to catch any little misdemeanor, and all the while slowly bleeding him dry of both his funds, keeping him afloat, and his reputation. I wouldn't be surprised that taking this job to plunder a hidden island what has treasures beyond one's imagination may have finally proven all the rumors right in some minds. And given the Sea Trade Company enough push to finally get a filthy paper out on Rackmorn's ship.
Latilla sits up and goes, hang on. Could they have been the one that set the 1T Collective on us?
She takes one hand to her chin a bit. They do have access to pretty much every other kingdom in the continent. I wouldn't be surprised if they extended beyond that.
Has Tibeth ever had issues with the 1T Collective in the waters? Via
Not
piracy?
that you would have known if you have. Like I said, you have dealt with the kind of South Balkan Sea Trade Company in your pirating days. Maybe they might have worked with them. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I'm concerned, they aren't much different from pirates, and their influence extends quite a bit more than you would expect.
Aye, but you try telling those who wield all the power and money that.
Oh, I have. Hasn't worked out quite well. But I suppose that's why I'm here now.
Agreed. They're no better than cutthroat pirates what cheated their way to their trade.
Indeed.
But not Rackmorn. He's an upstanding sailor. As is the lot of them. Even if some of them up and jump ship, but they're just looking after themselves, same as all of us.
Yeah, do you think any of those fellows ended up here?
Maybe. I don't know if I worry if they're alive or dead, considering the earfuls that Captain's going to give them.
So I wonder where, if the captain did land on the island like the rest of us, I do wonder where he would have gone.
Well, seeing as you confirm that he might have lost his ship either to the sea or to the company, the only thing I think he'd care about is getting to that bloody treasure.
Indeed. Well, there should be a way into the volcano not too far from here. But otherwise, there were other ways in that we know of.
Oh, you've mapped it out.
To
Most
an
of it.
extent, our contact gave us some details.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, Honeymoon will show her the updated map.
Oh, she looks it over, and you can see that the various other creatures kind of circle around her as well, and like kind of peek in over her shoulder. Just kind of look at it. They're kind of pointing at it and pointing around themselves, being almost like they recognize what you've kind of charted down.
Hey, I live there.
That's my tree.
Like I said, very impressive, and you would be very appreciated on board.
Mhm.
She hands it back to you.
Yeah.
Does
Honeymoon just kind
Honeymoon
of.
like look at Phasos at that remark?
I feel like no. This time she actually doesn't. She just kind of like very, very lightly kind of flips the ends of her hair with the back of her hand, and she says, "Well, I will certainly consider it. But first, we need to get home, and yeah."
He just looks around. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Phasos, you wanted to do something?
Yes, Phasos has Lotilla things.
Alright.
So Phasos is going to, as the conversation kind of dies down and people kind of, go to their own things, he's going to, approach Lotilla. Lotilla, may we speak for a moment?
Sure. Here?
Here is fine, or we can move somewhere else. It matters not to me. I mainly wish to mention that I'm very impressed by your loyalty on this mission. You seem so driven.
All right, here it
You
comes.
wanted to find, our compatriots and the crew and keep us all safe, and I very much appreciate that.
Well, Phasos, if we have one thing in common, I believe in contracts.
Yes, quite. He kind of smiles at that.
Tibet rolls her eyes.
Is this conversation private?
I don't think so.
It's not like super private, but he's not like
We're not
announcing
yelling.
to the world.
Okay, yeah, just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure, like,
Okay.
so
Talk
like
around
the
the
rest of us
table.
don't. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, well, on the note of contracts, I very much would like to just put forth the idea that perhaps in the future, should the need arise, I may be able to get in contact with you again, and perhaps contract your services and your loyalty for some future endeavors.
Phasos,
Yes.
you're a cartographer.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Well,
Don't worry about it.
cartography is my primary business. I do have to travel a lot for that, and though I am able to handle myself, there are occasions where I get into situations that are more dangerous than I would be comfortable just doing on my own. In this whole mapping journey, I wanted to make it to the Golden K and map it out. I wasn't going to do that on my own. As far as other ventures, well, we'll see when we get there how much you will need to know, as it were.
I see. It would very much depend on the details, Phasos.
Yes, of course, details are very important. I write very, very clear, concise, and, well, appropriate contracts for each job that I may need you for. You will know what is important. You will know the details. I promise you that.
We'll see.
He is 100% steepling his fingers as per.
Yes, no one evil has ever said anything like the sentence that he just said.
I know.
Exactly. But
Completely on the up and up.
he's going to, stop steepling his fingers, kind of very jankily, like raise up his hand to very, clasp it onto your shoulder, if you will, if you allow it, and he says, "Thank you, Lotilla, for listening." He kind of cuts eyes at Tibbet for a moment, before he kind of goes back to himself, and he actually pulls out a piece of paper and begins to write on it.
I wish Tibet would just mouth "eat shit and die" at Phasos.
I mean, she sticks a tongue out of him, but that was about it from that interaction.
All right, there we go. That's the Phazos
Yippers.
flotilla.
All right, gotta make all my offers. Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna shift over to Tibeth, actually.
Oh.
Plus, y'all had discussions as well.
I was thinking that Honeymoon would want to wait until like people were asleep.
Gotcha.
See.
Similar question to earlier. So, do you have family, Ocean Song?
Yes, I do. She's on a faraway port somewhere, still selling her jewelry and talking with all the locals, I imagine. Not that there's anything wrong with settling down on a nice port town with not much to do, but, you know, aside from her tales of my father being in this dimension or that, whatever, I'm fine with just the sea.
Little more than fine, I think.
How do you mean?
You would have to love it to risk your life.
Yes, I mean, I've always felt a calling to it. There's something deeply alluring about it that I can't quite place my finger on.
I think
There's
those are
these-
called sirens.
Well, yes, if you're talking about the physical manifestation while you're out at sea, yes, I've also encountered those. But no, this was something that would happen numerous times while I would be on shore. I would have these dreams of being out in the sea and having the ocean spray singe my face and being able to explore the horizons more than they were ever meant to be seen. But I never thought it was much of a reality until I was picked up by a crew and then tossed around like a heap of cargo. But I'm here now, you know? Had
You were
my fill
stolen.
of the sea and still ready to get right back at it, hopefully under new management, as it were.
She can't blink, but she makes like a weird little head shake. Wait, go back. You were stolen?
Stolen? I suppose that would be the term for it.
You just said picked up like cargo. It's about the same.
Yes, I mean, I worked upon a privateering ship many years ago.
Bless you.
I
Sorry,
worked
real
on a
quick.
Yeah.
Real quick, your icons next to each other, your names. It looks like Ocean Song Gotilla.
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
But yes, I did work on some privateering ships many years ago, and upon one faithful trip, we were boarded by the Blood Reavers, and I guess I showed enough moxie to be so welcomingly led aboard and kept there against my will for 15 odd years. So yes, I guess stolen is the preferred term. I was where I wanted to be, I guess. Not exactly in the circumstance I imagined it, but on the sea nonetheless. I imagine my mother's still out there. I'm
How
sure she's
old
doing
are you?
fine.
How old are you?
Somewhere late odd 39 summers or so.
You got picked up young.
I started young. I wanted to leave that port as soon as I could. I was tired of the dreary old same old melting metal into gems. But I guess it goes to show you careful what you wish for, huh?
I was going to say she looks at the fire, but she could just look at your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the same.
You probably just see the reflection in her eyes. Just,
Yeah. It's I appreciate the concern. It really shouldn't be a bother of the crew, you know, personal issues and all that. I mean, I guess I'm one to talk, and she glances over at Phazos, um, about taking personal issues, but you know, we're here to see a job done, and I'm hoping to make it to the end of that to see the next adventure.
Additional challenge accepted.
Does she actually say this, or?
Should. You know what? Sure.
She, Tibeth blinks for a second, goes, challenge? Okay. Yes, sure. I mean, I guess you could take this as this entire journey as a challenge.
It's already part of my contract.
Yes, that's how contracts work. Until you burn them, and then she again glances at Phazos.
He's
she goes-
busy writing right now.
Oh,
He's
yeah, yeah,
not
no,
paying attention.
She's not trying to get a rise out of Phazos. She's just like, you know, signaling to Lautilla that that's what she's talking about.
Gotcha.
But he's like, yes, I mean, yours says to keep the safety of the crew, and you've done a pretty swell job of that so far. You've kept me alive and not drowned, dead. You've kept Honeymoon from becoming a pile of glass shards everywhere. And Phazos is still alive.
Don't sound too disappointed.
But look, I mean, Sean, Theodore, they're all fine. You're doing a wonderful job.
She like looks at Theo's hand.
Hey, alive is different from unharmed. Your contract said alive, so
There we go.
you know that.
Better his hand than his head.
Theodore waves his kind of gauzed nub around. It's all right, Miss Lautilla. This wasn't your fault. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, Honeymoon will actually say, better his hand than his head.
I heard they make wonderful prosthetics in Belkinus. But yeah.
Alright.
Is that all aside from Honeymoon's thing that she wanted to wait until everybody was asleep?
Did you want me to go more into your stuff, Heather?
Sure.
Yeah, if you want.
Probably just a quick one then. I think I have siblings. If they're alive.
If they're alive.
I don't know. I haven't seen them in a while.
Define a while.
How much do you know about One Tees?
Shockingly very little. Oh.
That's fine. It's a bit
Oh,
of
that
a
was the
small.
bard.
It's a bit of a tight knit culture.
I've heard they are a bit, secluded.
Yes.
I met a handful upon my vessels, but they mostly kept to themselves.
In my particular case, I worked for a monastery. I was a guard. It's how I got my training. What winds up
see.
happening a good deal of the time is unwanted clutches are donated to monasteries. And they're assigned jobs. I don't know where they wound up.
I see. Do you know your parents, at least?
No.
What
Even
made
just
you leave the
eavesdropping.
monastery? Sounds like it was a great home for you.
It worked. And I worked.
I know
And,
the feeling.
Was it 5 years ago now? I would travel. I would do different guard missions for the uppers of the monastery. So I've been up and down this coast for a while. Not necessarily on ships, but up and down the coast. And at one point, I was left behind to make sure payment was secure and deliver it home. I wound up getting stuck in what I can only describe as a freak blizzard.
On the coast?
Going home to the mountains.
Oh, I see.
And I met someone who would not leave me alone.
Oh.
She glances at Theodore for a second.
He just kind of looks left and right, like he doesn't realize he's the one being looked at first. He thinks you're looking at somebody else behind him.
Continue.
His name was Chase, and he was very good at it.
Ah. So, you were hunted by this chase?
We were married for 3 years.
Holy shit.
Oh. I see. I have a lot of experience with arranged marriages, I'll have you know. I am very sorry.
It wasn't arranged, my friend.
Oh.
No, baby girl was
it-
into it.
Immediately, like Tibeth does that Shrek like
Like ooh.
sucking in his face.
Honeymoon is also doing that, looking down at her star map.
It's like, my apologies. You said Chase, and I assumed it was not reciprocated.
I'm sorry. Out of all four of us, Latilla's the one who gets the most.
Yes.
It was warm. It was a blizzard. Originally, it was just that.
to Beth again, just like trying to keep everything together.
Theodore turns himself and starts to scoot. I'm gonna go to bed over here now.
Honeymoon has been writing the same line for the last minute and a half. She's trying not to laugh.
Tibeth is about glowing the same as the fire at this point. It's becoming indistinguishable.
At this point,
Yo,
even
Latilla
Bezos
fucks.
has gotten, his curiosity peaked as he's put down his pen and is just listening
Honeymoon's
now.
face.
Sharn does.
He's
the,
like still staring at the paper, but like he's not moving his hand or anything. He's just listening.
Sharn does the like Obama not bad face. Like
Not bad.
not bad.
She like puts out a hand to Beth's shoulder and goes, he was a kind man. It wasn't nefarious.
I'm glad, because all the situation that you've been describing up to this point made it seem that that was the case.
I apologize. It was meant as a joke. The Chase bit.
I see.
I understand it doesn't always come
Cultural
through.
divide there for a second. It's my apologies. Continue with your arranged, or not arranged. So, excuse me. Your marriage in the blizzard.
Obviously, we didn't get married then.
It's so funny though.
Yes. The rocks married us.
Yeah.
I trust them.
And so, every time there was a mission that would send me that way, he would find me.
I see. So did he continue living out there while you were married?
Yes.
And you were relegated to guard duty with your clan. I imagine he wasn't also a 1T, was he?
No. Human.
I see. I think I'm starting to piece together where the schism between you and your clan started to arise.
Yeah, Honeymoon's not like technically part of the conversation, but she wants so bad to ask questions.
If Honeymoon even so much as like squeaks at something, Tibeth is going to like shoot a glance back. It's like,
Nope.
No, shut.
No, Honeymoon knows how to play her cards. She's waiting for you to ask all the questions.
But yeah. So, what exactly happened then?
They found out.
And what happened to him?
Gone.
Gone?
There was no body.
Then there's still a chance?
No.
She has like the most awkward smile she can muster.
It's a very plain no.
Oh.
You can see Phasos has, at that point, upon hearing that, picked up his pen, and he kind of very hesitantly starts to write again.
See. Well, then what did they do with you? Did they kick you out or did you leave?
I left.
Good. I assume this entire voyage for you has been a means to an end in some kind of way.
What do you mean? This
I
wasn't.
mean,
This was 2 years ago, Ocean Sun.
2 years is plenty of time to hold a grudge.
Oh, I do.
And that's what I mean. With this
Ah.
trip, I mean, the Golden K, the treasure, the untold fortunes that are there. You could
That's not
amass
why
a
I'm
s-
here, Ocean Sun.
A small okay. Then why?
I had eggs.
Oh. Wait. How is
Even
that?
chokes.
They were
Very
just a
quickly,
spawn.
very quickly clears her throat, looks away.
Tibeth is doing her best not to look at Honeymoon during that, and she's like,
What? How does? Okay. Continue.
Holy shit, Lotilla's a MILF.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
It's the live fan dub version of the Golden K.
exactly.
Damascus. So, had past tense. Question mark?
Either they were destroyed with my husband or taken.
So you're hoping for the latter?
I don't know.
So if not to raise a small army to strike back at your home monastery, then why be on this daring adventure for untold riches? Is it just a distraction?
I recently had something done to where I was in need of funds, but additionally, they didn't make it seem like anybody really came back. And I don't really have a lot to go back for.
So they're loan sharks after you? After all they did to you?
Ocean Song, I think you took my words in a different direction.
Never mind then. I don't know what I'm saying.
If I survive, great. If I don't, also great.
Oh. I see. And she's like looking over at Shard, like, help me.
I just meant I wasn't really. Riches
You
wasn't
weren't-
exactly.
You
What
weren't
drew me?
expecting to, or rather, whether or not this entire adventure was successful was no matter to you. I see. Well, I guess, fortunately, for you, the rest of us are very much keen on completing this adventure. Or unfortunately, I guess. Depending on your perspective of things. But,
I just like to keep busy.
I see. Then,
Please don't worry. I will complete the contract.
I think best ending, Latilla stays, retires here, and becomes Snake Mom Snom to the spider.
We'll see.
it, I. Quite the conundrum you've dropped on my lap, I'll say, Latilla. You've done a bang-up job of shutting me up several times. And I only know of one other person that's capable of that. And then she, like, thinks for a moment, like, she looks over to the fire and thinks for a moment. So, if a distraction's all you need, then why not stick with this company? These privateers.
I do like the adventure.
Then you and I are of the same heart at the very least.
You get a smile.
Aw.
Oh.
You mean a snile?
Sure.
Well, no, her smiles go for sniles and sniles and sniles.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
She offers her hand and says, "Friends of the ocean."
Friends of the ocean. And she takes your hand. It is probably the weirdest combination of sensations for both of them. One
Probably.
being scaly and the other being like essentially warm coal.
Nice. All right.
And yeah, then she's gonna go back and to looking at the fire and just kind of thinking on all of that.
At this point as well, the two NPCs have kind of fallen asleep during the conversation, so they are at rest now.
Honeymoon
is gonna-
finally stops rewriting on the same line.
Yeah, well, Tibeth is going to look over at Honeymoon and Phazos and goes, "Well, I trust one of you will look after us, right?"
Yes,
Honeymoon kind of casts a glance over her shoulder at Phases and says,
I'm sure we can handle the first watch.
Thank you very much.
Yes. He did
ri-
not look up from his paper.
Rise me whenever you need to exchange shifts. And
Will
then
do.
Tibeth is going to flip around and then just conk out in the dirt.
Good.
Alright.
What's Latilla doing?
I think Latilla. If y'all wouldn't mind scooting back, I think she's actually gonna curl up around the fire.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
yeah. Just gently nudges Shar and just.
Slithers around.
She like kind of air swats a few. The whiskey, I didn't drink it all.
Nor
You're
can you.
fine, Sean. You're fine.
Do you know the Master Chief death pose? Joseph?
Oh yeah, with the like
That's
with the face on the ground and like the two hands it's good pose like in football.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is exactly how Tibeth sleeps.
Amazing. She even spins on the ground like Master Chief when she.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole point. Whenever she was like sitting there, she like flipped over and like on the ground.
Would you be able to like find a picture of that? 'Cause I don't know
Oh,
what you're
yeah.
talking about.
You can do
100%.
that.
Here,
I
I'll
love
put
in,
it
in Halo 1 as
content.
well, like because they didn't have like ragdoll physics, every time like if you die in a standing position, it would do like a little turn before it
Yep.
falls like
That's
that
pretty
as
good.
well.
Good.
Here's for those who
is-
don't I don't have screen capture, whatever.
Oh well.
You can look it up at home.
Okay. So we're asleep, and Phasos and Honeymoon may begin. their
Yeah.
content.
So you're gonna take the
Yes.
first watch, but you said that you were gonna have an interaction first.
Yeah, so I feel like it's happening concurrent
Okay.
with the watch. So Honeymoon has gotten up again. She's since some time has passed. She's making new notes about how the sky is looking and how the stars have sort of moved, if they have at all.
Yes. So the sky moves very similarly to the sky, back at home. North and, the cardinal directions seem correct from what you can tell. Sun rising in the east, setting in the west. Same thing with the stars moving together. The clouds seem to move in a proper rotation. Like I said, this place seems like it was built off of a blueprint of the world that you came from. Perhaps that might mean that it was based off of the real world, or someone who made it is familiar with the real world. It's hard to tell. Regardless, it makes charting this place a lot easier than one would expect, being in a completely different dimension.
Yeah. Very intriguing. So yeah, as Honeymoon is sort of she walks around a bit, kind of alternating between keeping an eye on the perimeter and then going back to her map making. But as she wanders back within earshot of Phaso, she keeps her voice low so she doesn't wake anyone.
Oh, actually, I totally forgot that I have fucking nighttime. I could just do this. There we go.
Oh!
Magic.
Nice.
I totally forgot that I had a nighttime version of this map. I should have used it.
Wow.
By the way, this is by Afternoon Maps, I think it's called. Afternoon Maps. I am a patron of theirs on Patreon.
Very nice.
Do we perchance have any music or ambiance?
We do not. You can pick some if you so wish.
Oh, okay. Let me.
And I'll be sure to add it to the VOD as well, because I did not plan to have ambience for nighttime.
Some campfire ambient.
Oh, I'm trying to. Do I have any? Okay, I've got maybe a good one. Good,
You
just
can
a
get
track
your-
that I enjoy. That could be good.
You can get like
Um,
a Yule log from YouTube or whatever, like the 10-hour one.
10-hour Yule log. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, Phasos plops a piece of wood in the fire, makes the loop
Crackle.
start over again.
So, as Honeymoon wanders back, sort of looking up at the pretty expansive night sky and the stars and stuff, while she's just sort of, I feel like she's made her way to the bank of the river, so like it's just kind of like the water's up to like her ankles thereabouts. And she'll kind of, without looking back at Phasos, she'll call over quietly enough that he can hear, but not enough to wake the rest of them.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what exactly she would say. She'll just say, "Mr. Jerame," just sort of get your attention.
You hear him click his charcoal, as he has, that's the only writing implement, on the paper a couple of times. Langley.
Why
He
did
looks
you
over.
come? Oh, she's still just kind of head tilted back up at the stars. She says, "Why did you come on this expedition? Surely there are other ways. Well, I know you say it's for map making, but surely there's more than that."
He kind of looks over at you, picks up the papers that he has, and kind of rolls them up a little bit, walks over, and takes a seat next to you.
She kind of raises an eyebrow and then will also kneel down in the grass.
You're right. But perhaps there is some other reason I may have come here. Mapping the Golden K is, of course, quite an achievement. One that, as I understand, you have been wanting to do for a while yourself.
Oh, yes. Although it goes a bit deeper than just making the map.
He kind of glances up at the stars. I imagine so. A family thing, you said. I was maybe a little bit overhearing.
Oh, quite all right. We were all around the campfire. Hard to avoid. Goodness knows I was listening in on Tibeth and Lortilla's conversation.
He gives a very deep sigh. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, kind of shifting her gaze down to the reflection of stars in the river, Honeymoon will continue. My family have been stellar map makers for many generations, but it's not just for the fun of it. You see, my druidic circle that I follow and practice, we seek the knowledge of the cosmos itself and the power that can bring. And she kind of like holds her hand out, like sort of making the motion with her claws as she looks back up. Map making is just the best way that we've found to do it. And of course, the map making itself, I quite enjoy it. I like the detail work and the research of it all, but at the end of the day, that knowledge, that power, it calls to me. And she kind of glances over at him and she says, as I imagine it may to you.
He kind of gives a small nod. I've realized a little bit over the course of our extended time knowing each other that perhaps we're not so different, you and I. He kind of looks off into the distance. I did come to the cave to map it, and I intended to perhaps map a way to it, to return as many times as I needed, though the magical realm shifting and whatnot kind of puts a wrench into that equation.
Oh, yes. Things get quite confusing when you're on a different plane.
Yes.
Did you notice? She points up at the stars.
Did you notice? They're not quite like ours, but it's almost as if somebody modeled them after our sky. They're almost there, but they're just not quite right.
I don't quite have the same eye for the stars as you do, that is. But I will say it has a striking familiarity, if just a bit off.
Oh, yes.
But yes, power, you mentioned. I do seek power of a sort. Power that I believe the wealth of the K can provide, or at least get me closer to getting. You see, I believe that everyone in this world has a place. I intend to be at the top. And currently, my work with the Cartographers Guild, while lucrative, isn't getting me there. I need more. And that's why he kind of pulls out the piece of paper he's been working on. I've worked up this. If you would be so interested to take a look. He hands it over to Honeymoon.
Honeymoon arches an eyebrow and takes it, scans over it.
Yes. So you can see it is a form of contract.
Oh.
And he says, in our journeys, and especially this last day, I've realized that I alone cannot achieve my goals. You may have noticed I approached Tibeth and Lotilla.
Yes, it went quite swimmingly.
Tibeth not so much, but Lotilla seems at least possible. Though, from overhearing their conversation, maybe it's not a line of work, really. He kind of looks over. Originally, I had thought, well, what if I could finagle something here? You know, you're making these star maps. what if I became sole publisher? That could definitely make something that was, not quite my expertise, something that I could profit off of. But from our conversation now, seeing that perhaps that contract could be amended.
Honeymoon side-eyes him and says, "What did you have in mind?"
Perhaps a type of partnership could be arranged.
Honeymoon starts to get kind of a slow smile.
I must admit that I never thought it would come to this. I always looked down on your star mapping and whatnot, but I realize, and I do know that I am a bigger person for this. I realize that I was mistaken, and that perhaps there
Honeymoon
is
laughs.
some very small amount of
Hurts him.
value to your work. And hearing your ambitions, they do align well with my own.
Honeymoon finishes, like she had kind of like covered her mouth with a hand to giggle very demurely, and kind of finishes chuckling, still holding the contract. She looks back out over the river, and she says, as much as I like to needle and poke fun at your own methods, there's a reason I consider you my rival. That would take somebody I consider of equal prowess. And she looks up and she says, my family's fatal flaw was that they always insisted that it was their duty alone to uncover the secrets of the cosmos by mapping it. And then now most of them are dead. And she pauses and says, I like to think I'm smarter than them. And I like to think I'm a bit more ambitious too. And she now, like, she had been kind of like looking up at the sky and the river most of the time, but now she looks over at Phazos directly and she says, I think partners might be nice.
You can see Phazos smiles at this, a genuine smile, and he then quickly changes from that genuine smile to a very, very, oh yes, things are all falling into place kind of smile as he steeples his fingers.
Oh, there you go with the finger thing again. You always do that, you know?
He looks down, he unsteeples for a moment, straightens his back, re-steeples. Yes,
Yep.
I do. He holds out a hand. Honeymoon, would you like to be my partner?
Honeymoon looks a little bit surprised that he's actually calling her by her first name, and then she also like still like a bit coy, but also kind of genuine smile back, and she daintily takes your hand and shakes it, and she says, Phazos, I think I shall.
Very good. Very good indeed.
The both of you get an inspiration for that.
All right. Oh, and
Fuck yeah.
as I imagine we're getting ready to stand up, Honeymoon says, oh, I did notice something. She digs around in her bag and holds out a nice pen, and she says, I noticed you were having some trouble.
He looks at it, he smiles, takes it, says, Langley, thank you. This will make things a lot better. He quickly goes and starts rewriting the contract in pen. Except, of course, with the new partnership agreement as opposed to the
Original wording.
the original wording. So
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good like scene end for that
Yeah,
combo.
I think so. And
Hog in the chat.
I didn't have the time to make this a proper map, but I'll share the proper one. Honeymoon, you have an additional information about the stars and how it relates to the Golden K. There is a particular set of very bright stars in the sky that make a constellation that somewhat resemble the K based on what Phazos has drawn, and it looks like this.
Ooh.
As none of those major stars seem to go outside kind of the outline of the K in terms of orientation, besides the fact that they eventually kind of, rotate with the rotation of the planet as well.
Yeah.
At, a certain point, at the dead of night, it seems to align very closely with the shape of the K.
Ooh.
This
Honeymoon
is
will remember that.
important information.
Make a note quickly.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the screenshot of that, like a proper drawn one, not drawn in Roll20 as well.
Gotcha.
Much appreciated.
Okay. If that is the last thing you do in the night,
I think so.
we may roll into the day. You all finish
Yeah,
a long
just,
rest.
Just real quick,
Mhm.
just for flavor, Honeymoon going to bed is a very intensive process because she has so many fucking things to take off. Like, she has to all the fucking rings, the fucking boob jewels, the horn caps, the jewels between the horn caps, all her earrings. It's a fucking process. So yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So, let me get some perception checks because you are on watch.
Ooh. Yeah, forgot we were on watch.
yes.
All right, let's
Hey,
go.
let's go. Oh,
Okay, so
Cool.
that's not bad.
Phazos, you notice the night is pretty much kind of nice and pleasant and, not much to worry about. Honeymoon, you notice mostly the same. However, you hear the far-off chirps of animals and creatures that you've started to become familiar with as your time on the island has, started to go on. They are chirps that you've heard, not from your world, but from the island. They sound a bit panicked. But otherwise, an uneventful watch on your part.
Honeymoon will let Phazos know that she's heard this, and that she'll keep an ear out for the rest of the watch. But if nothing happens, she'll let whoever takes the next one know that she heard that, and just to be aware.
Keeping an ear out, you do hear rustling nearby in some of the kind of bushes and branches, and you can see that all the masked creatures all seem to be in a state of stasis of some kind. Their lights are very dim, almost like a slumber of their own.
Okay.
Honeymoon will not instigate anything. She's gonna wait. She's gonna keep waiting and listening, see if anything jumps out, and when the watch is up, she'll let whoever's next know.
You're so good at listening that when you pay attention, you notice that there is a pattern where, when you actively pay attention, even just the subtlest of movements of you perking your ears or looking up or anything like that, the rustling seems to stop, as if they know they're being watched by you, whatever's out there.
Yeah, Honeymoon will. Yeah, just at some point during the watch, as she's noticing this, just kind of say quietly to Phazos, "I believe the Guardian is still keeping its eye on us."
He kind of nods. I would imagine so.
Yeah, and if it doesn't do anything, Honeymoon's not gonna start shit.
Yeah, it
So-
doesn't really do anything. You just kind of, you get the feeling that you are definitely being watched, and it
Great.
knows that you're watching it back.
Cool.
We should probably let the others know when we wake them.
Agreed. Yeah, Honeymoon will meander back to the fire and just she'll kind of use Lautilla's tail as a pillow.
That's fun.
So I guess
Nice
then,
and cool.
Tibeth is next up then.
If you so wish to be the next on watch.
Very
Well,
well.
I mean, if Honeymoon's gonna go rest on Latilla's tail,
Someone should be awake.
You could wake one of the NPCs, or I don't know, the mask creatures.
True.
Yeah, I assume
we
this was
did
like a
pay
couple
people
hours later.
watch.
Yeah, a
So-
couple hours later.
Yeah, I'll say maybe we can wake up both Tibeth and Sharn. So there's another two-person watch.
You could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Alright.
Okay, you wake up Sharn and Tibeth, and Sharn has a slight startle. Just goes, oh. Part of me was hoping that this was all a dream.
Unfortunately not. Your watch. Just keep an eye out. There is something in the woods watching us.
So, does Phasos
Probably
go to
the-
wake up Sharn and Honeymoon go to wake up to Beth?
Yeah, I'll wake up to Beth.
Yeah, Phasos knows Tibeth does not like him, so
Yeah, Honeymoon will just kind of gently shake your shoulder to wake you and be like, to Beth, darling. It's time for a watch.
Oh, yes, right. I forgot.
Yes,
Still
and
needs
just
to be seen.
yes, and just keep an eye out. There's something in the woods that's watching us. I suspect it's this guardian creature, but just in case.
Something
aware.
other than the little ones around us?
Yes.
And she's gonna take note of them being like in stasis, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
See, okay, I'll do my best to keep my eye out then.
Mhm.
You go
Yep.
have your rest.
Indeed. Honeymoon begins the laborious process of deglamming.
Okay.
All right. So, you may, with that information, very pertinent information, you may roll perception with advantage.
Ooh.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll for Sharn as well.
Well,
Aha, shit.
11's better than 7.
yeah. Strictly speaking.
All right. So, Sharn rolled a 13.
All right.
And listening out, you don't quite get the same feeling that Honeymoon was talking about, although you are looking out for it. It's not like you're ignorant of the possibility. It's not like, oh, well, I don't hear anything. Must have been my imagination.
Must have been the wind.
There's a nip in the air. Won't be good for my crops. But you don't hear anything. You don't see anything of note. Sharn kind of crosses her arms. She seems suspicious of the silence herself. Well, whatever it is, maybe it's gone and looked for something else, or it's gotten better at being secret.
That, or perhaps we're worse at looking at the jungle. I mean, you and I are both used to the sea, aren't we not?
She kind of holds up one finger like she's about to say something defensive, and then she tilts her head. Aye, fair.
And they go about their watch.
Yeah. But mostly uneventful.
Okay.
Alright. I guess
Beth.
last up is a... Yeah.
Yeah, Tibeth is gonna go wake up Latilla.
Sharn kind of gestures to you a little bit. Should I wake up the boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would let you. I would allow you to do that. I wouldn't want to take that surprise away from him.
Aye, perhaps it could be some experience under his belt. And yep, she shakes him awake, and he does kind of like a karate pose.
Very good.
The best.
It's just you, Miss Sharn. And she kind of gives him the rundown, and kind of goes back to laying in her spot.
Tibeth walks up to Latilla, notices that Honeymoon is on her tail, and goes,
It's a big tail.
She's got
This-
room. I just need to not jerk up.
yeah, she like goes into like shake, and then she notices that she kind of like gets down on Latilla's level and just like pats her on the shoulder. It's like, it's your turn for watch, but you do have a guest on your tail currently. Also, there's apparently some noise about in the jungle that you should be aware of. Supposedly it's the guardian of the island still keeping watch of us. You can hear it if you're careful enough, but me and Sean weren't. Supposedly Honeymoon and Phasos were, though, so just keep an ear out and make sure you don't rise Honeymoon back there.
Alright.
I like to think
She-
that Honeymoon is a comically deep sleeper, so no matter what you do, she's not gonna wake up.
Okay. She just like uncoils a little bit. Honeymoon gets to keep the part of the tail she is on. And she just stretches up kind of higher than usual.
Theodore just kind of shuffles over to get nearby. You can see that he was a little bit perturbed by realizing how far he is from the rest of the party.
You can hear her spine crack.
With them being fully roused, Tibeth is going back into Mr. Halo Man death pose and just on the ground.
This is just the way that she sleeps.
That's how she sleeps.
Mhm.
I sleep myself very similar to that. Not exact, but very similar.
Good morning, Theo.
Good morning, Miss Lautilla. You don't think that Guardian fella's gonna smite us?
Why?
Well, we did come to this island to kind of... He leans in with a hand over his mouth. Steal their treasure. But I mean, learning about all that, I kind of don't want to anymore. Even before learning that, I was totally fine and content with just leaving the island and going back to my folks.
I feel like it's based more on actions than intentions. As we've done nothing yet, there's no real reason to smite us.
Oh, I
she
sure
said.
hope so.
It'll be okay, Theo.
Oof. All right, because I don't think I want to lose any more fingers.
That's fair.
And with that, you may roll perception with advantage as well.
All right. Don't think I have any. Do I have some?
Smurception.
I have a little bit.
Perception.
Is gonna
14.
roll like garbage.
Well, Tilly got a 14.
Okay, with a 14, you hear the rustling kind of in the tree line that you were warned about, and you see a little creature peeking out from it, different
Well,
from the
ma'am?
masked ones.
Oh?
You can see that it's
okay.
it looks like a chicken without its head. However, wherever the head would have cut out seems to be rows of teeth. And it seems to be
Holy
crouching
shit.
there, watching you.
Dinner?
You are on honeymoon since you are on me.
Uh-huh.
You actually do get like roused by your shoulders and held for a moment.
Huh? What's going on?
Don't say anything. I need you to look where I'm looking.
Honeymoon it starts to be like, huh? And then realizes you said don't talk. And she gets her wits about her, looks where you're looking and says, or rather mouths, ew.
Mhm.
And you can see Theodore, like, notices where you're looking and looks to, and he's just like, he just, like, grabs you, like, wraps both his arms around your big, snuzzly shoulder.
Oh, bless him.
Miss Lautilla, what is that?
I don't know.
Does it look like anything we might have seen back on the material plane?
What?
Chicken with
What
teeth.
is your...
History?
Yeah, you can... What's your history score?
+3.
Okay, Lautilla, you got a history score?
I don't think so. What is it? Just a 1.
Just a 1? Okay, with a 3, Honeymoon, you actually do know that this thing is familiar. It is something that has been in kind of certain... what's the word? Like zoo... What's...
Zoos?
the books that contain creatures in them.
Bestiaries?
Bestiaries.
Nice.
You've seen these in certain bestiaries in the material plane. They're called wretched.
Oh, good.
Oh, what a fun and beautiful name.
Pog.
However, you do know that these things tend to run in packs. Where there's one, there's likely a bunch of others.
Honeymoon will whisper to Lautilla.
I recognize it from, you can find them on the material plane. They're called wretched. If there's one, there's probably more of them.
Oh, good.
Ugh.
You can see that it's just staring at you and the fire, and with your high perception, you can see it's shaking.
Scared of the...
Well, maybe if we keep the fire going, it'll be too scared to come close. We can deal with it in the morning.
Is that your plan?
That's what Honeymoon thinks.
Scared of the fire?
Yeah, it's like looking at the fire is shaking.
What if it's cold? That's not in character. That's me.
I mean,
Packs. I don't like the sound of Pax honeymoon.
No, neither do I.
Okay. I know that it looks violent. Did the book say it was violent?
Do I recall anything like that?
Yes, they are predator hunters, similar to wolves, where, if they are hungry, they will hunt.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, Honeymoon relays that.
I kind of want to warn the little creatures. The masked ones.
Ugh. Very well. I suppose out of character we didn't fully get the long rest.
Depends what you do for the rest of the night. Or
Gotcha.
morning in this case.
Yeah, Honeymoon. Given how it's acting with the fire, and it doesn't seem like it's trying to come closer, does it?
It does. It seems
Oh, it
whenever you're
does.
not moving, it seems to creep ever so closer.
Okay.
Any sudden movements you make it kind of a little bit startled and pause in its walking.
I am adding more sticks to the fire.
Honeymoon
Okay.
will cast Produce Flame and hold it in her hand and kind of like... She's not going to like throw it yet, but she's going to kind of like thrust her hand at it with the flame, see if it flinches.
It does for a moment until after, if you keep your hand out, it again starts to creep a little bit closer, similar to the campfire.
Honeymoon mutters under breath, "Oh, you little bitch." She puts out the fire.
Adding more sticks to the fire as well, you can see that the light produces, showing you more
There we
of
go.
them kind of creeping out of the tree line.
Oh God.
Theo, I need you to take one arm off of me and tap to Beth.
All right. And he does so, kind of like shakily poking to Beth awake.
What? It's morning already? I just
Don't
fell
move.
back asleep.
Well, breakfast might be served.
Oh, is it?
And she flips up and she looks around.
Oh, it's us. I see.
Mhm.
Well,
Poke Sean.
or alternatively, we cause quite a bit of ruckus and get everybody ready to attack.
I would like people to be awake and aware first.
Okay, I will do that then.
And she pokes at Sharn.
Yep, Sharn kind of groggily wakes up as well and looks around.
Hello, partner. Apparently, we're surrounded. Could you wake up Phasos?
She just takes one hand, like without moving her head away from looking at the wretches, takes one hand, shakes Phasos. And now everyone is awake.
Out of
Tibet is-
character.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Oops.
Ah!
I was saying something. I was gonna say, as you woke me, Phasos like 90-degree sits up and then steeples his fingers as he's waking up, looks around, unsteeples, and gets fisticuffs ready.
Tibeth leans around from like looking at or waking up Sharn and looking at Phasos. She's going to tap the little critter next to her awake as well.
Nice.
Friend, there appears to be some unsavory types in your neighborhood here.
You tap it, and the glow kind of comes back to it. It looks around, almost completely unfazed.
Oh, my apologies. I guess they don't eat wood. Go back to sleep, I guess.
Its light dims and goes back to its kind of motionless form.
Oh, good.
Well, friends, it's just looking for us.
Do we know
and-
for a fact they're hostile?
Well, they keep getting closer.
Okay, good.
I mean,
if they were super cuddly, friendly monsters, you of course wouldn't first attack, would you? Oh, Phasos with your tentacle arm there.
He kind of looks over. He's just like, I am unthreatened currently.
Oh,
Well, then why don't we let them get a little bit closer?
I mean, Honeymoon is like down to let them get close to you melee folks, see what they do, as long as they don't get near her. Yeah, Honeymoon said, very quietly says, "They haven't rushed us yet, and I'm fairly confident we could hold them off. They're about the size. They look like fucked up chickens. Honestly, I think we could handle them. I suppose we could let them try to see what they want."
Phasos is gonna stand up to his full height. And he's going to look at the
You can see that as you do, it's very easy to see that they're all shaking, very similarly to the first one that you saw, and they do take a few steps back at you, showing your full height.
Tibeth,
Okay.
will grab some. She'll. How could
Some moss, more moss junkies.
Yeah, you know what? She'll grab some grass and moss and stuff like that, and try to use some mud to cake the end of her dart with debris, essentially. And then she's going to produce flame and try to light it,
Oh.
and then swing it around a bit.
You swing it around, they seem entranced by it.
Well, I'm not sure if they're interested in the fire or just mesmerized by it, but maybe I could just do this for a bit and they go away.
Is it particularly cold outside?
If the side of you away from the fire, yes.
There might actually be
It
cold.
is a wet jungle, very humid, very easy to get cold away from such a fire.
Honeymoon thinks the island spirit would probably be mad if we killed them and didn't eat them, and Honeymoon wouldn't want to eat them because they look fucking gross, so probably not good to kill them. So she will whisper, maybe we sort of all shift to one side of the fire, let them warm
Make it the
themselves
other?
on the other.
Okay.
Sharn,
feel I'm not
Sharn
into the
nods at
left.
this, but she has a hand kind of in her coat. If one darts for me, I'm shooting.
No, go crazy.
I'm
At that
swinging.
point, it's self-defense.
Exactly. Then we would be no different than the boar.
Exactly. By the logic of the whatever guardian, I mean, we didn't attack them first. How could we be evil if we're, following these rules?
And as you move to that one side, they all start to creep closer and closer to the campfire, but kind of keeping their gross headless chicken neck faces fixated on you, as if they're watching you in the same intensity that you watch them. And they get close to the edge of the fire, and they all seem to lay down, and their shaking stops.
Oh, thank God we can go
Would you
back
look
to
at
sleep.
that?
Honey, as soon as she sees that they've laid down, Honeymoon immediately plops back down on Latilla's tail and is like, all right, good night.
And this
Sunset
one up here, you
open
see that
invitation.
it sees the wooden masked creature. It like nibbles a little bit on the wood, and then it like almost like a sneezy bark, just like, and then just
That
like
was a very good noise you just made.
just kind of lightly kicks it with its one of its legs,
Yeah.
and it just kind of like turns it a little bit.
Be nice to him.
Wake me up if there's something actually dangerous.
Honeymoon is already unconscious again.
Phasos is back to sleeping.
Yeah, congratulations, you've beaten the encounter.
We solved your fucked up chicken puzzle.
Yeah, and
Beth
you do.
is still very wary, but she extinguishes her rope dart and begrudgingly resumes the Halo Man death pose.
Yeah.
If you would
And
like a pillow as well.
the rest of the morning goes off without a hitch, as Latilla Wait, no. Is it Tibeth?
It was
knows?
Latilla and Theo doing
Lot-
the last watch.
Lotilla and
Yeah.
Theodore both watch, making sure that the wretches don't do anything suspicious, and they all seem to fall asleep themselves as well. As the morning passes and the early morning sun comes over the horizon, you all complete a long rest. You may get half of your hit dice back, and all class features that would reset on a long rest do so.
Yay!
However, when morning comes,
Oh no.
suddenly the wretches all seem to notice something kind of out of your ability to parse, and they all like quickly get up and run back into the woods as if they were panicked.
Oh dear.
Huh? Should we switch to the day map?
We will soon.
Oh, sorry.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
I-
Okay.
And let me just pause this music.
really quick before we get into the next big scary thing, can I go use the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I need water. I'll be right
We're
back.
almost done though.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Small break, everybody.
Small break.
Bing bong.
I'll be right back. Quick swap.
It's a blast. I'm glad you guys have joined us for the live game.
Yeah, kind of hoping that, because like we got to go find the captain to get his fucking book, because otherwise we're not getting off this island. I hope to God he's in the evil forest, because that would be so fucking funny.
Langley and Jerame, or Jerame and Langley as partner name.
What was it?
Depends on who you ask.
I see, I see.
What's going on?
Someone was asking Langley and Jerame or Jerame and Langley as partnership name.
Langley and Jerame sounds better, to be honest.
Oh, is Phazos a marketing man?
Yeah, he is.
Does he put marketing ahead of his pride?
That's a good question.
Because my thought was they both say whichever, like their own name first, depending on like who's asked.
Well, that's a good point.
Oh, it's good though. Did not even have the book. She had it. My intent when she dove for it was I wanted her to just fucking take it, but the captain had it. She gave it back to.
She did.
No, wait, did I? I finished the incantation, didn't I?
You did.
Oh wait, no, that opened the portal.
That opened the
didn't, like,
portal, and
send
I
us
think
through.
you gave it
And then
back. Yeah.
Yeah, because it would have looked bad if I kept it. Blood, honey.
But yeah, we are almost done.
All right, I'm back.
You're back?
Sorry
Okay,
about
we can return
All
then.
right. Yeah.
So,
Right.
morning comes, the wretches run from some kind of unknown force. And as everyone's starting to wake up, they notice that, but then you hear a low rumbling. And then suddenly all the masked creatures get up, they all light up, and they all kind of start to move almost in like a panic. Like they seem as though they've lost all coordination. They're trying to grasp for the trees, but some of them have lost the ability to climb. Some of them bump into each other. Some of them trip into the river. And then suddenly, the earth begins to quake.
Honeymoon
God.
quickly starts putting all her stuff back on.
And as it does, the earth begins to quake, and your party members start to panic a little bit, and right before
dear.
your eyes, a chunk of the island starts to sink.
Whoa, hey,
Oh,
come
God,
on now. Let him play, ref. Come
And
on.
then, as it does, some of the masked figures that were there fall in with it. Some of them are clutching on the side, hanging for dear life.
Oh my God. Tibeth is gonna run and help the ones
Yep.
that are clutching on the
And
side.
Oh, good.
So,
Bet.
so is Theodore, and the earth is still quaking. And at this, Sharn just looks at you, at the two of you, and is like, "What are you doing? This place could fall apart. We've got to get going."
You see Latilla
Not without these
stab,
little ones.
stab her trident into the ground and wrap around Theo. Her tail wraps around Theo.
Yep, and Theo is holding on as well. He looks very, very scared, but he's clutching onto this guy. So you guys have another decision. You guys can escape and ensure your safety as well as everybody who runs with you, or you could stay here and try to help the creatures that are about to fall into this abyss.
I mean, this feels like a test, right?
Not necessarily.
Phazos is going to kind of like quickly assess the situation, and he looks over at everyone. She's right. We have to get out of here.
You said earlier that the island might be destroyed if someone takes the treasure, aye?
Yes.
That it could be damaged. That's what I remember.
Damaged.
Well,
Tail.
Oh.
Nice.
That was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this looks like damage to me.
Then that means
That-
maybe someone made it to the treasure room.
Rockmoon.
Exactly. Listen, I know that you guys have some sort of sentimental connection to those, but we have to get out of here.
Then you can go and I will rescue these.
You'd risk your life for something that you can't even communicate with? What's the point of that?
Sometimes you can do more than communicate with words, Phazos.
Yeah. Honeymoon, she is, glancing, like eyes quickly darting back and forth between like the gaping abyss now. Does it just look like pitch black from down there?
Pretty much. Like, it
Okay.
looks deep and dark, and you don't know where the bottom is. You see some water rushing in from the river, and some of it kind of like coming from the like underground water, but it's hard to see an end.
Yeah. Honeymoon. Honeymoon will grab these two guys, like have one under each arm, and she'll call out to Beth. Look, it's admirable that you want to save all of them, but sometimes it's not feasible if you want to stay alive too. Save who you can and keep moving. And
I know I can save this one.
Well, you better be fucking quick about it. As she grabs these two and starts fucking booking it.
Okay.
Are you booking it in heels also? Question mark.
Of course I am.
Oh yeah, good. Just want to make sure that those were also put on during
Of
your
course,
mad
of
dash.
All right. So we're gonna come to a decision. It seems pretty split. So I'm gonna go down the line on what decision is made. Because although, yes, you can guarantee to save the ones that are still on the surface, it is going to be a challenge to save the ones that are not. And, however, if it is split, then I'm going to flip a coin. Does that sound fair to you guys?
Yeah.
And of
I'll
course,
accept
once
that.
again, whatever decision you make does not reflect on your character. It's just your character's willingness to make that decision, not the outcome of the decision itself.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna go down the line. Honeymoon, leave or stay?
Leave.
Phazos,
Leave.
Lautilla,
Leave as in we're just dropping everything, or
Leave as in you are prioritizing your safety over the safety of the ones that are at risk of falling.
Namely,
I can't.
the little dudes.
It's dependent on Theo and Tibeth, because she's not leaving either of them.
Okay.
So put me for last.
Okay. To Beth.
Stay.
Stay. Okay. Lautilla, knowing this. Theo, obviously, as he's shown, wants to stay. Sharn wants to leave.
I have to stay.
Okay, it is
Okay.
split down the middle.
Split the party.
I'm gonna roll a d2,
Okay.
and whichever one wins out, we're just gonna say convinces the other somehow.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so D1, or rather, if we roll a 1, you stay. If we roll a 2, you leave.
Okay.
And save what ones that are not as in danger.
Okay.
Here we go. You're gonna stay to try and save them.
Oh.
Phazos sighs and is going to try his best.
Okay.
May as well.
Yeah. Honeymoon realizes that Tibet's not going to budge, and if Tibet's not budging, Lautilla's not budging, and she sure wants both of them to keep her alive.
All right. Kate, I
So
need,
she just goes, ah!
I need
and she
some
goes
action
to
music.
join. Okay, let me think.
Because we are gonna do a skill challenge.
Skill challenge.
Wait,
Good.
I have one.
Oh,
Yeah, you got
I've
one?
also got one if
Hang
you
on.
What you got? What you got?
Shit. I'm trying. Speeding. Whew.
You're so fast.
Okay, I don't have it. You go ahead.
Okay.
This is gonna take me too long to find it.
Dang it.
Actually, I'm gonna do the same music I did for the Kraken because I think it works very well.
Consistency.
Theme music.
Some good, fast-paced, tense. Yeah.
Good.
Oh no, hold on.
That's not it.
Hold on.
Ah,
Skip,
very nice.
Skip it. There we go.
Very nice.
That's better.
Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead and roll initiative. Make sure to select your token beforehand.
Oh, something green and slimy.
Oh, again?
Oh, what? Why is something
No.
green and slimy on the...
I
don't know.
clicked you. Why didn't you?
Oh, we rolled the same initiative, Ian.
Good.
I
It's-
clicked
it's-
you so many times.
What's it call it? The Oh, you got rid of my
Oh, for
initiative.
some reason, it's showing your initiative... for some reason, it showed you having 2 initiatives on my laptop.
Okay. Well, I will
Yeah, yeah,
re-roll.
sorry about
and just-
that.
You can fix
Let's
mine
try this again.
to
Yeah.
9. There you go.
Yeah.
Are you not going to work for me?
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
Good, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
What was your first initiative? No, that is your first initiative. Okay. So, Honeymoon, Phazos, who wants to go first? Between you two.
no, I did have a first initiative. It just wasn't under the right thing. It should be a 12.
12? Okay.
Well, Honeymoon has a higher dex mod, so she would go first.
I leave it up to player choice.
Okay, well, I will let Honeymoon go first.
Okay, then. So, with this skill challenge, you will require 4 successes to successfully save all the at-risk mass creatures. And
Okay.
2 failures, something devastating will happen.
Good.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
So, firstly, to Beth, how do you want to help the masked figures? The masked creatures, rather.
To Beth, seeing that this one is hanging on for dear life, quickly stabs her rope dart into the dirt, and then gives it a solid tug to make sure it's stable enough.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna use it to swing down and try to scoop him, and then swing back up.
Wow, and acrobatics then?
Ooh.
Yes.
Your sailor.
Yes, little pirate!
All right, get
That is
it.
1 success on the board. You swing down like a pirate, like the pirate you are. You grab
So
this
Hell
thing,
yeah.
you swing back up. It has been saved.
Good job.
Actually, I'm gonna add one more to count for the 4 successes. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that one has been saved. It stays the hell put, realizing that it doesn't have the kind of ability to
Coordination?
Yeah, the coordination, and it stays put.
Good stuff.
Latilla.
I want to yank Theo and this little guy up.
Okay,
Can I do an athletics for that?
you may.
All right, let's hope. Ooh.
Ooh.
You yank him
How a
up,
bummer.
and you kind of yank him hard enough that because his feet were so dug into the ground, it gives way a little bit, and he slips. You catch him before he falls, but more of the ground sinks under him, and now you are holding him by his legs as he hangs down, holding on to the creature. That's 1 failure.
Gotcha.
Oh, no.
Next, Honeymoon. Oh, whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, Honeymoon sees Tibet successfully rescue that guy, sees Latilla, sees things are not going well with that, and so she is like hacker mode, like eyes all over the place. She starts like scanning around, trying to pinpoint if there's any rhythm to the shakies, try to see how fast the earth is falling through. And try to find which places seem stable enough to direct the little wooden guys to go long enough for them to get to more stable ground. So I would like her to use perception to suss out the best places for them to go.
Okay, you may.
All right. Bing bong.
You just make it. You look closely at where the ground is loosest and point out the dangerous areas. You speak out in Abyssal, and a few of them kind of give like encouraging knocks against their masks, and one manages to just barely put it together enough to climb its way up, taking your direction on which branches to grab and which areas to dig its fist into. It climbs up. That is one more success under your belt.
Okay.
Yeah, Honeymoon is just gesticulating frantically,
Phasos.
trying to keep her balance.
All right. Phasos is going to come up over here to like the edge of where that new kind of thing happened, where Theo and the other one are hanging. He is going to employ his tattoo ink and reach out his tendril to also grab onto Theo to see if, with their combined strength, they may be able to pull.
Give me a athletics check.
Yep, let's try it. Come on!
Yes!
Yes.
Let's
You
do this!
yank together and pull him up to the point where you throw him over your shoulder, just like all the way over here to safety, as he plops, holding the thing clutched in his arms like a baby.
No.
All right, Tibby, it's all on you.
It's do or die. With one more success or failure, this skill check is over.
This is so stressful.
Tibeth, with the final one hanging on for dear life at the edge of this now new waterfall, being pushed by the water, how do you plan to help?
Pushed by the water too. Tibeth has a sinking, immediate realization that to get that one is going to risk serious injury to herself. But
Don't worry,
she's
I
gonna
can
try.
fix it.
She's gonna try. So, as quickly as she can muster, because she knows that her rope dart alone is not gonna be long enough, she grabs vines that she can get from the trees that are about to fall into the abyss, and ties them together in a makeshift rope. And I'm gonna try to use a sleight of hand check to make the rope to save him.
All right, gonna try and lasso over and throw the rope. Let me see that sleight of hand.
Oh, we got it!
Bravo!
Holy shit!
Against
heart is
all
pounding.
odds, you toss the rope just as this thing's hand slips off. it is caught by the rope, and you hang on to it, hanging down, and all of the masked creatures bang their masks in celebration.
Honeymoon yells, "Don't celebrate yet, let's move!" And she's like dragging these two that she's got with her.
Yep. They all
Wait,
start
was
to
that
follow.
was that 4 successes?
That is
Yep.
4
Yes.
successes.
You were the last one.
You have saved all the masked creatures that were in threat of falling into the abyss.
Thank God. All right.
All right.
However, the ground is still shaking, and yes, Honeymoon's advice is apt
good.
as
I'm
you
gonna
start
grab
to
this one.
run.
Yep.
And
Oh my
as you
God.
run away, more of the land starts to give and fall apart. As you see just a large portion of the island sink, birds are flying away from the scene. And you can see there are other animals and creatures along with you, including the wretcheds, just staring as they see their home sinking into the ground.
Wait, Mr. Klein, no! And she's gonna look back and like scan the sinking island, see if she spots a bit of purple among there.
was
You
pretty
can
far
give
away,
me a
though.
perception check if you would like.
I would.
Yeah, he was a little ways away. Might not have gotten his part.
From what you can tell, it's hard to see if he would be there. You have a pretty good eye for things, and what you can see, even with your adrenaline going right now, it doesn't seem like Clyde specifically is there. However, you do spot several creatures, animals, falling into the abyss as well, that unfortunately were out of your reach.
We have to keep moving.
Yeah. As we're running,
Honeymoon says,
Fa-
Richie's, yeah!
Phasos, you know, you guys are running. Phasos, he just curses under his breath. Damn it! I have to redraw the map.
Beth greatly
honey-
debates tripping him at that moment.
Honeymoon, like, half, just like very fast, and everybody's like, give me a couple more levels, I'll fly and get a map.
Oh, I did want to say, right after you yanked Theo, Latilla was gonna look to you and say, maybe we could work together in the future.
Good.
All right. And with that, I think this is a good place to call the session.
Yeah.
Christ on a bike.
Wow.
And it will be a little while. This series is going to be on hiatus due to real life things going on. But
Someone's
the next
getting
session,
married.
the next session of I almost said Necrohunt. The next session of Golden K will be the final one.
Whew,
Wow.
whew, baby.
And just to clarify, this weekend coming up is no good, right?
Well, I assume that was because you aren't available, right?
I am.
I am
What?
not available.
Oh, Ian's not.
Are you?
I am
available.
not.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
right.
was like, I know one of us isn't.
Yeah,
but I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if it's
Bummer.
I thought so as
I
well.
would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
Ah, well.
Just want to make sure.
Alas.
Yes.
Alas.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I've ruined everything.
So
You did.
Can't believe it.
we don't need to go into detail of personal lives, but when is the next time we are available to play so that the audience knows as well? Like
I
the
would
25th, maybe?
Yes, the
Yeah.
25th would probably be
The 25th, yeah. So
You got a
in
whole month you gotta
yeah,
wait,
in
guys.
a month. I better make
Yep.
the finale worth it.
Quite the cliffhanger.
That gives me time to work
Literally
on a
cliffhanger.
drawing
I know,
of honeymoon
right?
I was doing, so
Yeah.
I was making some honeymoon art.
Yeah, it's still only
Oh,
4
honeymoon
sessions.
art.
It's just, yeah. So
Okay.
yes, September 25th will be the final session.
Mark your
Yeah.
fucking calendars.
I am right now, actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. And yeah, this has been
All right.
session 3 of Golden K. Thank you all for joining me. Let's find someone to
Yeah.
raid.
the Yogs still going?
The Yogs cast is still going.
You want to
The
raid the
Yogscast?
Yogs cast?
Want to flex that we have the larger audience?
Oh, they currently have 10 more over.
Ah, damn.
But still, I mean, pass on the fun.
Yeah.
I mean, may as well. I mean, it's just the Yogs cast.
Just the Yogscast. Just people that we've watched for years and
I know, right?
Looked up to
Admired.
whenever we were wee lads.
Okay, why not? Why not? We'll raid raid Yogg's cast. What do we say?
It's been a while, boys.
No, I was gonna say,
No, I know.
what was the thing that Simon always said to,
Simon
as
says.
like a dismissal to somebody, like they were leaving?
Oh yeah.
No, somebody said
See you
smilf.
later, shit
Smilf.
lords.
See ya.
Smilf.
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 Oh
Because
yeah,
they have
because
Oh yeah, snake milf. Yeah.
snake milf. Smilf.
All right. Yeah,
Smilf.
sure. We'll say
Smilf.
smilf. I think that's better than quoting them their own thing because I'm sure they're annoyed at it. Yeah,
Fair
smilf.
enough.
All right.
Ah.
Smilf. Bye everyone.
Smilf. Smilf.
Smilf.
Smilf.
Okay, yes, that's the
Good
one.
night, everybody.
Good night. Whew. Very good.
And
Good